but I didn't ask. But are you cool with like, you know, at times that we could do like chat polls or whatever, just to see community consensus?
Yeah, yeah, yes. Because this isn't like super.
It's not like super anal. It's very like, I think this is actually a good list to have like community input on, right? It's like
yeah.
Because it's based on skill. It's like, oh yeah,
something that is important is that, you know, just one of us might, or both of us might not struggle with an item, but then everyone in chat is like, no, we really struggle, and
exactly,
then we're just like exceptions.
Yeah,
so getting that experience, that pool of experience, can be important.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, welcome to the stream. We are here. It is a new guest. Say hi to Wiggly. Feel free to plug yourself.
Yo, I'm Too Wiggly. That's the plug.
Right.
Type 2 Wiggly.
Type 2 Wiggly into YouTube. I should have put your freaking channel in the description. This is honestly like such a last second stream. I'm actually gonna quickly do that while I wait for people to get in.
Damn.
I'm gonna edit stream mid-stream. So yeah, feel free to actually describe the point of the stream.
So we're ranking difficulty in this, and that kind of means if we're kind of combining a few different criteria in that. The main two being the skill floor and the skill ceiling. So, you know, the skill floor is just like, how easy is it to use like a base level of like just learning it, and then, you know, it's kind of self-explanatory in a sense.
Yeah.
And then skill ceiling is like, okay, if you want to optimize everything about it, do you need to be a task? Like, do you need to, you know, how hard is that? I want to give examples, but that would spoil. We can just give examples of when we're ranking.
Yeah, no spoilers. Come on now. People don't want their spoilers for this epic list. All right.
And then and then there's another factor with the skill floor. There's another factor of items that force things onto you, which will be kind of considered and ranked like a little differently. Like something like Isaac's Heart is what is it? With like a lot of active items, you can kind of ignore it, but with like something like Isaac's Heart, you need to use it in every single room, which does make it harder to use because you use it in the situations you do not want to be using it in. But you know, with like breath, something with a lot of like active items, you just fucking, you know, you can use it when it's easier to use as well. Like, it's just, you don't need to like always go for the active item like 100% of the time, or you always go for everything 100% of the time. But then if something is forced upon you, it's just like, well, deal with it.
Exactly. All right. This is going to be like formatted similarly to the item list tier list that I randomly did that other time. I really like that stream. I thought it was fun. This will probably take multiple streams. Probably like 3 is my assumption. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe more, maybe less. Who knows? Depends on our pace. We will just be talking about the items, you know? Good discussion here to be had. I guess we can just get right into it. So yes, because it's going to be formatted like the item list tier list, items like stat ups are probably going to be ignored. You don't think a tiers up. If we did need to rate tiers up, this is the one to do it. Do you think tiers takes any skill? I don't think so.
No, if anything, it reduces skill like a tiniest bit, because more shots, easier to hit.
I guess we could put it takes negative skill, and that could just represent all tiers ups if you want.
Yeah, it could be like the, we can just leave it there for now and just see where things place, and, you know.
I mean, it does. I agree with that point. You're shooting more, so you are hitting more shots, so you have to aim less. That's fine. Takes negative skill.
It's like, actually, where's the damage up? Because I feel like we don't even need to put a damage up, because damage up is just the same tiers, but just hit easier.
Yeah.
But this is actually there's less precision in aiming. Actually,
yeah, you have to aim less. That's a good point. Like damage, you don't have to aim. You still have to aim just as hard with a damage up, right?
Actually, it becomes a little easier because your things become bigger, but you know.
I guess you also have to technically hit less shots. We could just put like a damage up in there too. It doesn't matter. in takes negative skill. It doesn't matter. Basically, it'll represent all of them, though. We're gonna skip a lot of the same stat ups, though.
But I think with a triple shot is actually a good example of this because you need to like be more mindful with timing your shots, which does take skill to like know the cooldown and know when to shoot.
That's true.
But if you have a high tier rate, then it's just like, well, there is no cooldown. You always hold forward. But there are times with triple shot where you were just specifically not holding forward because you're waiting for the right time to do it. Especially if you have like triple shot plus another charge item or something like that. So you really need to consider that.
It's possible that I underrate how much skill this takes because I was going to. I think at best it's minor skill at best for me, because like.
I think just the triple, like just the timing, could be there, but I think with the having 3 shots and actually hitting all 3 shots,
you just have to aim so much less is the thing.
You have to aim less actually.
So
if you're trying to, so skill floor here is it becomes easier just because it's a what is it?
It's a wider hit range.
Yeah, right? Wider thing. So just shoot and forget about it. But if you're trying to optimize it and you're trying to hit all 3 shots, then that actually takes more skill. So yeah, I think this is somewhere like low skill, minus skill at best, around that range.
I'm more partial to this. I think whenever I pick this up, I'll hit every shot. Yeah, I'm shooting less, like less fire rate, obviously, but I think like it's so easy to at least hit one of your tiers, and in enemy rooms that's very relevant because one of your tiers is likely going to be enough. That's what you need, right? Or 2.
It can make a huge difference. So with homing, this is just like bottom of the list.
This is always going to be bottom of the list. As the resident hyper of Spoonbender, I will say that the literal reason why I rank this item so high on all items is that it eliminates the need for skill. It actually just, you don't need skill. It decimates it. You play the game on autopilot when you pick up Spoonbender. You just don't need to aim. You get all your uptime. Because
actually, this does tie into the video that I made about Isaac about like the movement and the tiers and everything. So normally you need to be in the cardinal directions to hit things, but with Spoonbender, you don't need to worry about that anymore.
Exactly. So you could like hide behind rocks. Skill. Like you could play differently. Yeah. Like I guess I don't know. I guess you could technically, I don't know, we still just do takes negative skill. Technically, you do change your play style when you get Spoonbender, and that's different from normal.
No, your play style is that you just don't think.
That's true. But you could also think more and play better because of it, like...
No, that's the thing, is that, like, because even if you know, like, what is it? Oh, if I shoot here, it'll home into an enemy that I don't want it to. A lot of the time, it's just like hard to play around that, like just hard to the point where it is not reasonable.
Oh, no, I meant it in the opposite way. Like technically, this has a, well, no, you're actually right. I'm sorry. I was thinking of like skill, like ceiling, but there's no reason to rank that because it's still like overall, like it's just a net positive no matter what. Like in every single way, it's just a net positive. So it doesn't matter that you could technically. Basically, what I was saying is, you could hide behind rocks now and shoot in situations where you couldn't before.
Oh,
but you couldn't do that before, so that's like a new skill set that you can do when you pick up the item. But it doesn't matter because no matter what,
that's still making it easy.
It's all the ability is making it easier, so it probably doesn't matter. It takes negative skill at the end of the day.
But yeah, like a few things you don't need to consider with this is just like the tier momentum, like the speed momentum. Actually, I think what is it, pre-buff, it actually kind of took a bit of skill because it wouldn't always home in, and like the homing was way less aggressive, so you needed to actually shoot it to compensate for it somewhat. But now it's just like, okay, well, if it's anywhere near the enemy, it will hit them.
Exactly. And I'll respond to chat messages as I see fit. Victor says, is skill floor or skill stealing more prioritized? I think we said skill floor? Wait.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out as we go. Basically, the list is based on how easy is the item to use in a simple way. You had 3 factors that you wanted to do. You could actually copy and paste the factors that you DM'd me. I could maybe pin them.
One of them was well, okay. So one was floor, one was ceiling, and the third factor was kind of just floor, but like forced floor onto you. Where you can't ignore it, so you need to deal with the floor. And if the floor is high and you need to deal with it, then that's kind of tricky.
Right. In a simple way, it's like, how hard is the item to use? In simple words.
Yeah, and how hard is it to learn as well?
Yeah. That's part of it.
It's so how hard is it to learn, and how hard is it to use once you've learned it? Because there are some items that you can just like all the tricks, all the things to do with it, but even after you do that, even after you practice, it's just like, well, I'm still not hitting this consistently. Like, say if something's a frame perfect input, it's like, well, I know when to do the frame, but I just cannot time the frame.
Exactly. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Sorry that I saw the music needs below. I adjusted it. Thank you so much. All right, I guess we can get on. I agree with Spoonbender likely being the very bottom of the tier. Technically, if you want to be that guy, Sacred Heart makes you shoot less. So technically, you have to aim. Let me stop.
It makes your tiers bigger.
That's true, but you shoot less. And if we go based on the tiers up, you know what I'm saying? You're shooting less shots at once.
Actually, no. Sacred Heart actually takes more skill to use because it gives you a health buff, which takes some skill.
Hold on, you're right.
Like, when do you pick up Sacred Heart? Wait, I think it heals the heart as well, so that's a bit of skill to use.
Hold on, the cook. All right, anyway.
Fully heals Isaac, yeah.
Okay.
Insane.
Are we using Cricket's head as anything here? Probably not, right?
Nah.
All right. My reflection, definitely important to rank.
I think it's minus skill at best, because it makes it easier and harder.
I think I'm a bit rebirth pilled on this one because it got buffed so much. This one used to be hard to use, just literally. But it's just so much better now.
Because it makes it easier in the sense that your shots are just on the screen for longer, so there's just a higher chance of hitting it, even if you're not like paying attention to it.
I actually will argue it should be low skill, because it needs you do need to know how to use momentum in order to get the max range. So in all items, I made a big point about how this item basically doesn't have its major negative from Rebirth and Afterbirth, where it literally just decreased your range overall. But because they increased its shot speed so much,
well, it still does decrease your range, but like not nearly significantly. And decreasing your range does take a bit of skill to compensate for, but it's not that crazy.
But my point here is that actually in all items, I did a test. All I did was put my reflection on myself, and it turns out as long as you use momentum, your range is actually higher with my reflection than it is without it, like way higher. Like if you go into a greed mode run, like the big long greed mode run room, and you just use momentum with my reflection, you could actually shoot way further. So you actually have enhanced range by a lot as long as you use your momentum.
But having to use momentum is what is it? It's kind of niche.
It is, but I'd say that's low skill, right?
Okay, so this is what is it? Yeah, so with that, I think that's like more skill ceiling, and something else that ties into skill ceiling is just like being able to intentionally like curve around rocks, because there definitely is like cases where if you are good, you know.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think I'm mostly talking about like if you're fighting like final boss or something and you need the extra range, then literally just moving back and forth, right? Like instead of just standing still and shooting, but using the momentum to your shots to get the max room range could be really useful depending on the final boss.
And actually, another thing that is brought up in the chat is what is it? Blind item picks with this is something to consider. Once you pick this up, you need to consider blind item picks more. You need to have knowledge on the game to be able to pick
game
that.
knowledge I think is important to take note of. I actually wonder There might be enough factors that it could be maybe low mid skill.
Yeah, we'll keep it there for now, and we'll see how.
I don't know. I
goes
feel like it
into
only
skill.
being 1 tier above triple shot is a bit crazy. I think it should be 2 tiers above triple shot.
Because I think a lot of time you are just shooting normally as you would, and a lot of time it does make things easier just because your shots are on screen for longer.
But is
and things
there
will hit
not way
optimized.
more to think about with this than triple shot?
Yeah, there's a decent like.
Look how many
Yeah.
tiers we got, bruh. Let me do it for now. We can always move back down.
Yeah, maybe that's we'll move for more items. Whatever. Do what you want.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's the mana list now. Let's go. Oh, actually, this is.
Number 1.
Well, actually, it's a range down because actually stat ups are basically irrelevant.
Mhm.
The stat downs
Yeah, they're
actually do
interesting.
take skill to play around, and this is a decent range down, I think.
Oh yeah, there's a big range down.
like a
This
higher-
could
higher than most.
actually ruin a run, theoretically.
Oh, it's a multiplier as well as a flat reduction.
I
so-
think you need to know enemy patterns. I think it's probably just low skill, and that's just it.
Yeah.
I think if you don't know enemy patterns and you have that low range, then you're just in trouble, right? You have to get up
And then
close.
if you get to a final boss with low range as well, then
Yeah.
that takes some skill.
Definitely.
But then otherwise you have the tiers up and but yeah, so I can go with skill, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where this doesn't matter, the low range, but so that's why I wouldn't put it like any higher. But yes, I think if
But when it does matter, it's like you need a lot of skill.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So yeah, I guess we're just not gonna rank damage.
Alright.
Yo, your favorite item, brother Bobby.
Yo, my
Let's
boy.
go. You know
Boy,
what?
Bobby.
Go ahead, rank this man right now.
I can see like I don't know, maybe low skill.
Low skill,
'Cause,
beyond reasonable skill to use. Two Wiggly's the only person on
No.
Earth that knows how to use brother Bobby, bro. We know. We all don't know. We all don't know.
To be fair, it's true. Like okay, there are like things with because when I'm testing Mr. Bobby.
Mr.
he-
Bobby. No, he's upgraded brother Bobby to Mr. Bobby. He's not brother Bobby anymore. He's Mr. Bobby.
Father Bobby over here. But there are times where just say like I'm against because actually against walls. A lot of this applies to other familiars and actually especially if they're like later in the chain. So like this also applies like Incubus and whatnot. Especially against walls, it can be a little tricky to hit his shots, and there are times where I've actually just been mindful about that, where I have been against the wall, he's been missing, and then I kind of walk forward or back, and it pulls him in line with me, and then I hit the enemy.
Mhm.
And optimizing to actually be able to hit the shots like properly
Right.
can take a bit of skill, but then outside of that, it's just kind of like you are just kind of shooting normally. But I think
I think
and
I'm
then
minor
was it-
skill at best, though. I'll be honest.
yeah, I can see either.
Because like putting it in the same tier as number 1 feels wrong. I think number 1 definitely has much more. Like knowing the enemy patterns is much more necessary than like when you have a massive range down, not knowing the enemy patterns and stuff like that could be really run detrimental. If you don't know how to like aim your brother Bobby shots, it's probably not going to affect that much.
Yeah. You can put it at that. I think maybe some of the other familiars could go into low skill. Like they're a little harder to aim.
Depending on what, I feel like they're all very similar. No, is there one in particular that you're thinking of?
Well, maybe like Ice Cube Baby or something.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
I like Little Brim or Little Monstro. Could definitely go.
Lil Brim is like
higher
takes
than Bobby.
negative skill, bruh. Lil Brim is like takes negative skill, bruh.
No, well, what is it? It takes skill to like actually keep track of his charge on top of yours, but
I
that's
guess so.
that's when we get around to it. What is it? Okay, so Skatole is fucking. I think this is like mid skill.
Shut the frick
Like,
up.
no,
Explain.
unironically, I think this item I actually don't know if it is underrated. I feel like it's underrated because people don't know the full effects of it. Because oh, actually, yeah, with the yeah, with Brother Bobby, using the knockback of him can be nice and like. Anyway, back to Skatole. So, because this works on a lot more than just like basic flies. Like this works on like most fly enemies in the game, and it has like a different effect on like a lot of them. And a lot of them, that the effect it has is what's it called? That they no longer deal contact damage. So if you want to use it optimally, there's a lot of times where like there might be a hard room to like actually squeeze your way out of, but it's like if you have the knowledge of like this enemy does not deal contact damage because I have Skatole, you can actually abuse that and just run into the enemy, or just use it, something like human meat or something like that to just run into them or just avoid damage. So,
but I'm confused, right? Like, how are you comparing that to like the skill necessary for? By the way, before we continue, we should probably pay a little bit more attention to chatters, because I actually agree with what chat's saying. I think number one should probably be in the same tier as my reflection. I think the range down is pretty like, if anything, either this moves down or this moves up like this. I feel like they feel more comparable. Because there are scenarios where my reflection can be really negative, like in terms of like certain synergies and stuff like that. But number one also has those scenarios where, if you don't know your enemy patterns, then you could be in a lot of trouble. What do you think? Do you think they should both be down here or up here?
Yeah, I was saying that my reflection should be low skill.
So you want to just do this? We can do that.
Yeah, we'll do that for now, I guess. Because a lot of the times with both of those items, you are just shooting normally.
Yeah.
I think that's like the thing that kind of just keeps them out. Like they can be pretty high skill, but like as I said before, we started streaming. I think a lot of the higher tiers will be active items, just because there's just a lot more an active element to using them. You can just ignore them, but that's a skill issue, to be ignoring them, and that with these items, ignoring them, you can ignore these two items and still get the full benefit of them. Yep. But with a lot of active items, if you ignore it, then you're getting no benefit. So it takes skill to just even remember they exist.
Right.
And
okay, so then this goes into what I was saying. Okay, before, the fact that these make an actual negative impact in certain scenarios, I don't know how you could say the skill required to use Skatole effectively is more skill than the skill it takes to know like enemy pattern. Like, to me, number one is literally knowing enemy patterns, and I think that's like relatively important.
Well, it's knowing enemy patterns sometimes.
Well, yeah, of course, but I don't like Skatole is never a relevant item. Like,
actually, so something to consider is with my reflection, we brought up picking it up. Considering items after you pick it up, but is picking up the item itself considered? Because with number one, it is there's like skill to knowing when it will be helpful.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we assume you just have
you already have the item?
Yeah.
Okay, if you were to be given this item, how would you play around?
Yeah, like blind item.
Alright. I think Skatole does what is it? It does make the game easier by making a lot of flies shoot slower or like do whatever effects.
Would this not just takes negative skill, it just makes the game easier?
It does make it easier in that way, but I think actually fully utilizing the item is not because people don't know in what ways it actually changes the enemy. It could actually invalidate skill, where if you have a skill around a specific fly, you know how it's going to shoot, but then because it's Skatole, now it shoots a bit differently. So that could it takes skill to kind of play around to adjust your playstyle in that way. because you need to adjust your playstyle if you want to properly use this item.
So you're telling
So I
me
think-
that you've been hit because you've had Skatole?
Maybe it's hard for me to say. I think that is a possibility, and I think there are a lot of times where I could have used Skatole to better effect, and I just did not because it's actually okay, with something like what is it, mirror and reflect. Fuck.
My reflection.
P.
Oh,
P,
number
and
one.
the
It's
other
number one.
No, it's P.
It's P.
So
Okay.
with those, I feel like the ways to use it optimally are like very clear. It's very easy to see, like, okay, I can do these things. But with Skatole, it is actually, it takes a lot of skill to actually be able to know which enemies do what things and how to use that.
But for the most part,
It actually takes like research.
for the most part, like in almost like 99% of scenarios, it only makes the game easier and it will never be a detriment ever.
Well, I think most items are not detrimental.
Well, that's my point.
Actually,
right?
we've gotten a very interesting set of first items here, where two of them are detrimental,
That's
but
true.
I don't think this will apply to most.
That is true. But I wanna nip this in the bud right now. I don't think that I do kind of get what you're saying, but I think the like 0.1% time where you maybe get shot by one fly out of nowhere is 100 million% outweighed by all the hits that you save from it just negating all contact damage from flies. So it's like there's no skill there. It's just it literally. I mean, okay, yeah, and I know that we've said but and I agree. Like most items will make the game easier, obviously, but
Well, actually, I think it's
but
the way I'm looking
you're
at
not
it now.
you're not using. It's not changing the way you play the game. It's just making the enemies easier.
Actually, no, I'm looking at it now, and I think it makes all flies not deal contact damage, so it's actually easier to know than I gave credit for.
Hmm.
So, yeah, no, I can see like a minor skill at best. And
I
a lot
don't
of
know,
times it does
man.
make it
I'm trying to
better.
see your logic, but I have never picked this up and been like, oh shoot, now I have to actually think about something. I never have to think when I pick this item
No,
up.
well, that's a part of the thing that I'm arguing for, is that because you don't have that thought, it's easy to overlook these items. Or it's easy to, it takes skill to not just be like, okay, just to, because a lot of items, this applies to a lot of items where you pick it up and it's like, let me just forget this exists. But if you want to, the skill ceiling, you have to remember it exists. Like,
Am I crazy? Like I don't know. This seems like it's like less skill than Spoonbender. Like dead ass. Like I think there's more to think about when you have Spoonbender by a lot than this.
so I think with this, it's it reduces the skill floor for the game, but it also makes the ceiling a little higher as well.
I just
So-
disagree. I don't know. I don't see your hype up for this. Would you mind if we do a chat poll for this? I really want to see what the consensus
Yeah,
is.
no, that's fair.
I mean,
I'm actually not even sure about this myself because I actually don't know, because I don't even utilize this properly. I can see theoretically like maybe I could do that, but I just lack the skill to properly do it. And maybe if I actually got better and I did it, then it actually is just not even worth doing, and I'm thinking too hard about nothing.
negative skill. All right, chat. Is Skatole negative skill or minor skill at best? I'm trying. I'm actually trying to understand where you're getting at. I am. I'm trying to have an open mind.
I do think I was overrating it initially, but I can see my skill at best.
I don't know, man. I really do think there's way more to think about, even with Spoonbender. Like,
Yeah, but that also does make things like significantly easier, though. Like,
I can't
and
even
I'm
like
not-
think of the possibility of being hit because of Skatole.
well, no, that was like one of the things. The other thing is just knowing that you can run into the enemies, and knowing that you can like abuse like melee things and create new
guess.
paths
like
3
Midas
enemies.
touch or
That's kinda like-
something, but that's so niche. But I guess.
It's yeah, but that's.
And I also feel like that's
well,
obvious. Like I think the moment you have that, like yeah, you know. But I guess.
Is it? When have you done that? If it's obvious, have you done that?
Yeah. I have.
Really?
Well, yeah,
With
because
that?
like
So yeah, it's Skatole and Midas touch, and you did that.
I mean,
'Cause
yeah.
I feel like I overlook that a lot. Where I get Skatole and I forget it exists, and I think forgetting about something existing is something to consider.
I think with specific scenarios like that, that's something that I think about. Like, oh, if I have Skatole, or no, it's one of those things where it's like, if I find Midas Touch, then I'm thinking, oh, I should get Skatole because it's a good combo. Because Skatole is usually an item that like you could like look for, right? It seems like most people are negative skill. I will say though, you've convinced me enough. I think we could at least put it above Spoon, I guess. I guess you could probably forget about E. coli or whatever, and, Midas Touch. That's fine. He's like 1% more harder to use than Spoon Bender, so yeah, no skill for me. Skatole is like 1% harder to use than Spoon Bender. I like how Skatole was the first hot topic. Alright, Halo of Flies is like a... Do we even rank that?
That.
Does that have
Okay.
contact damage?
No. So
I
it definitely doesn't like that. There is the argument that you could specifically like move to what is it, to block shots, where it's like, oh, I know the cycle, so I'm going to move in this way to block shots, but that is so niche, and for the most part, it is just making the game easier. You just don't.
I actually don't even know if we rank this. It doesn't change how you play the game. At least Skatole, like, it changes how you think, right? But I do get what you're saying. Like, you can move in a specific way. I mean, we could just put it in takes negative skill. I also don't want to bloat this tier out too much, though, you know?
We'll just we'll leave it for now.
Yeah, we can always come back. One Up actually has min-max. I actually did this on one of my streaks, actually, funnily enough, because I didn't realize before I did all items that this this literally just heals all your red heart containers when you die with it, instead of getting rid of heart containers. Yeah, I don't know. It worked. It's something.
Yeah, to utilize it properly, because you have to know when to actually kill yourself to min-max with it, because there are times you have like soul hearts and it's like, oh, well, if I revive myself with it,
Right.
Is it worth like losing soul hearts in this situation? So you need to know to like, okay, I'm going to kill myself in the sack room or kill myself in the blood donor, so I'm going to specifically leave a soul heart on the floor, so I can, kill myself with min-maxing and then pick up the soul heart for the next floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there. I would say, what do you think like the knowledge to min-max is around? Because knowledge is kind of hard to rank in this. Because it's really just one of those things where it's like, if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't.
I feel like a lot of people aren't nearly as good at min-maxing that they could be. A lot of items are underrated because people don't know how to min-max.
Like this one. I actually think this item is underrated because of min-max value. The moment I found it out, I used it and it was good. I liked it.
So there is an element of knowledge of like knowing to, use it in sack rooms or whatever. But there's also the element of what's it called? Even if you know like the tricks to use with it, it's still deciding when to use it, and people will disagree in this. It's not just like you always use it in this situation.
Right.
So I think this is definitely at least low skill.
Okay. You think above or below these?
I'll put it above because I think maybe you could go up to mid skill. Oh god.
I think low is fine.
It's
for now. You can move it.
Yeah, a lot of times you do just not use it at all, and it is just the high skill play to just ignore it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So-
true. But most of the time, you're probably just going to get it and just not use it. But, you know, identifying the situation where it's better to make use of the extra life, like, let's say on a Devil Deal or, you know, Sac Room or Blood Donor or whatever, identifying those scenarios is good. That takes skill.
Yeah.
Magic Mush is just not going to be ranked, right?
Yeah, nah, who cares?
Virus. This is probably similar to Skatole, right?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, you know, the scenario, like, the knowledge needed. Basically, I rated Skatole as, like, oh yeah, the knowledge to know to use this when you have a specific synergy.
Yeah, I thought you were saying similar to Skatole as in the placement, and it's like, no, this is definitely not.
But you think it's a lot higher? I actually did it. I actually was saying that.
Oh, that's because okay. Yeah, okay. I think there's something that's getting a bit twisted here. Is so it's with making the game easier. That is because most items make the game easier.
Well, I know that, but is there something about this? Okay, is it the fact that is it the fact that this requires you to know more enemies that don't deal contact damage?
Well, yeah, you do need that knowledge, and need the knowledge to like know when to use it. They're like niche applications that you can know. And what is it? Because with something like Spoonbender, is that if you want, by it taking a negative skill, it's if you want to use it skillfully, it's like hard to. It like kind of takes skill away from you by automating things. But with something like Poison Touch, was it Poison Touch? The virus. With virus, it does take like an active effort to use it. You do need to think about when to use it, but thinking about when to use Spoonbender, it can do something, but a lot of the time it just, automates things.
And I know like virus is weird to rank in this kind of list. Actually, I think I see what you're saying. This it's true because this literally gives you the poison effect. Most people will pick this up and just not use it no matter what. But yeah, it's possible that we are underrating it because we just don't think that we should use it. But there are quite a few enemies that don't deal contact damage. So okay, for example, do the host hats deal contact damage?
No clue. And see, I don't know what does and doesn't deal contact damage.
Yeah, and see that knowledge is skillful.
I'm not running into enemies. I'm just assuming they deal contact damage.
If the host hats don't deal contact damage, that actually would make this instantly to me. That would make this like low skill because I have not been using it on those, and sometimes there could be some room combos where you can't there's enemies charging you, and there's also host hats, and you need to shoot the host hats, but they aren't coming up in time. But if you could just, run into them and not take contact damage and poison them, theoretically, that'd be good, right?
Actually, I could,
because that could be good knowledge. Granted, the host stats are, very specific. I can't think of another enemy.
That's the thing, is just anything that doesn't deal contact damage to you, you would be wanting to use this on. And I don't know what that is. And I'm sure there are enemies that exist like this, like the crying baby enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I could always forget they...
You could also just shoot is the problem. But yes, it does take skill to know. Does anybody know? Can I get a fact check on that in chat? Anybody know if those host hats, have contact damage, when you run into them, when they're down? That's a weird one because there's not much value to using it though. As someone who uses Serpent's Kiss a lot, I know they don't use contact damage. I don't know, man. Actually, kind of correct, but there's no reason to use virus. This is a weird one.
Yeah, I think... What is it?
They don't have contact damage when down. And can you poison them? Can we get a test, please? Can you pull up your game and like pull on some turret crap, or do you have the debug?
Yeah, I can test it. Do you want me to stream it or do something to test it?
Yeah, stream really quick.
Ah. Well, I've got a bunch of shitty mods on that makes everything look ugly.
That's fine.
Wait, no, the hosts specifically. Oh god, they look like abominations. Oh,
That's fine. Leave it.
All right. Because I think mods are for degenerates, so I installed mods, and I'm like, yep, I'm going to be degenerate with this. Either I have degenerate mods or I don't have mods. Wait, it's just host. Wait, no, it's what? That's not host. Wait, what? Wait, no, red host, hard host. Is it hard host? Oh wait, that's this version of it. Oh. Okay, with a G virus. Oh, oh wait, no, it does have a, wait. Oh no, it's Ghost, oh, that was Ghost Baby, hold on, no. Okay, now I can do this, Bam, look at that. Yeah, because that doesn't deal, yeah.
You know what? Host hats alone, I've never done that before, but I'm gonna start doing that now.
That's actually pretty helpful.
Yeah. I like how I just thought of that randomly.
And I'm sure there's 1,000 examples like that. This is at least low skill.
Yeah, I'm down. Convincing enough. I think the host stats, I can think of a few rooms in my head that, like, yeah, I could see it. I could see myself, like, I should be using it, even though I forget, and that's a skill issue, right? And if we have all been skill issuing, then that means it takes skill at the end of the day. Granted, even then, even when using it, it's still not relevant. Not that relevant. There's still niche scenarios where it'll actually, like...
Yeah, well, no, okay, whether it's relevant or not is not the most significant. Like, you know, there are some tricks that are so irrelevant that it's just like, okay. Like, you know, what I was saying about the Halo flies, where it's like, wow, that is so niche, so irrelevant. But here...
This is still easy to use, though. No, I get what you're saying. This is still easy to use, though. All you do is run into the enemy.
It's not beyond reason to use, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think now that we all know that the host hats don't deal contact damage, we're going to think about this next time when we get virus, right? I think I will.
Yeah, and there's definitely other things that we're missing. I know, because this is just a knowledge check on every single enemy. And I know that, like, any item that relies on enemies, what is it? Just goes up.
As I said, there's really not much value. It goes really faster. Technically, this list is not based on how much value it gives. It's based on how much skill it takes to use the item. So, technically, it does not matter how much value it gives. It's how much skill does it take, and the knowledge check alone, I think, puts it around 1-up range. Are you okay with this spot, actually?
Okay, so yeah, so wait, Turt's saying some things.
Oh, he's not in
he's
chat.
Saying, yeah, he says he can't chat because he's what is it? He can't. He's not a subscriber, or something. That so even though it's a mod, he still can't chat or something.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Wait,
he can't chat for some reason.
Tell him to chat. Just subscribe.
He can't chat for some reason. He can't chat for some reason. I don't know.
That is odd.
But yeah, so I think what is it? Yeah, I think I disagree. Okay, so he's a subscriber. He doesn't know why he can't chat. Okay. So I don't know, for some reason.
That is very odd.
What is it?
Just figure it out, because I don't want to keep looking back to Discord chat. Are you logged into a different account? You know, it's good. You know, it's good to engage with the community.
Okay, no, I think Skatole should go higher. Because from what Turt said, I do think, because it's what is it? There is a skill, because this is how much skill it takes to utilize the items, and
right.
And there is a skill to use with Skatole. and it's because the reason I think Spoonbender is different is that it negates the skill that you try to use because it automates it.
And my reasoning for why I still think it takes negative skill overall is because it literally depletes the skill you need to dodge fly enemies.
No, this is true for every item in the game. So
No. You're misunderstanding. This item does not make you stronger. It makes the enemies weaker. Meaning that you need less skill to attack the enemies. You need less skill to dodge the enemies. It takes negative skill. You literally need to dodge less. It takes negative skill. In a similar way to Spoonbender, you need to aim less. You need to dodge less with Skatole. Tell me I'm wrong. I think that's a very reasonable take.
See, that's the thing that is true for most. Okay, I think if we're going to be thinking like that, I think we should just try and make it more skill ceiling then, because I do think skill floor.
How is that not what we've been doing for all the other items? I still think it's the same case.
Because it's basically I'm what is it? Trying to rank the skill it takes to use the item to actually like what is it? So the skill floor to engage with the item at all. Like,
well, okay, we can put more weighting into skill ceiling if that's what you're trying to say. But if I rank both, right? If I rank, like, let's say I rank skill ceiling and skill floor, like, evenly, right? Then no matter what, the weighting, I give more weighting to it making the game easier than the difficulty that it is to use the item effectively. Because it
making the game easier is actually irrelevant. That's not where we're ranking here.
Well then, I feel like if that's the case, I don't know if Spoon should be bottom tier then. Because I think then what's the reason for it being bottom tier?
If you want to use skill with Spoonbender, it actually, you want to use like tier momentum, you want to like angle shots or whatever. You want to use skill, it just negates that skill. It just automates skill for you. It does things for you.
Right, and I'm saying Skatole, it automates, it specifically fly enemies, albeit, but you literally do not need to dodge those enemies anymore. They do not deal damage to you. I'm not saying like just because it makes the game easier. I'm saying it makes it, that's the skill requirement to handle those fly enemies.
If any like orbital, then it makes it so you need to you dodge less. It makes the game easier in that sense that you are blocking more shots.
I think that's not correct, because the thing is with orbitals is that you could always still get hit. This is an item that no matter what, when you have it, those flies can no longer hit you. They just cannot damage you. Automatically, you cannot take damage from those flies.
Okay, so start saying to read the chat.
Turt, please fix your YouTube. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, because I want people to engage in the stream. I don't want only the Discord people to know what you're talking about.
Well, I think he's telling the other people to message things. So...
Skill identifying situations where you can dodge easier only because you have Skatole and can walk through flies is a case of using skill. Same thing is using contact damage effects to benefit on flies for more min-maxing.
And that's Yeah, I think that's what we should be ranking is be able to like recognize situations where you can express skill with this. That's kind of what I'm trying to rank is ways to express skill using the items, where you can differentiate yourself from a low skill player.
Turt, why can you not chat? You've chatted in all item streams all the time. Did you like unsub from me or something?
You didn't click the bell.
I don't get it. He's always chatted before. He usually helps me like post stuff.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's very odd. I mean, by the way, I read your point, but I don't want to have to keep looking at Discord. You know, I want everybody to, you know, participate in the chat.
And okay, so I think. Damn, tried turning his computer off and on again, didn't work. And I think that's what I'm trying to say here.
You must be on a different account, Turt. That's the only reasoning I could think. Well, no, but then you'd still be able to chat. If you subbed, I legitimately have no idea. Are you like banned or something on YouTube for some reason? Did you like do something to like get you banned from like chatting on YouTube streams? I don't know. Okay.
So, I think it's what I'm trying to trying to rank is the skill expression of an item, and does an item allow you to express more skill? Like if you and a low skill player, like or just not even you and a low skill player, but like actually no, like a task bot versus you versus a low skill player, if they were to get an item like Skatole, it's just how different would the gameplay look? And you know, with a low skill player, they won't even know what it does at all. And I think that is actually a factor to consider, is that people just don't even know the effects of Skatole. So they just are not using it at all.
Fair enough, I suppose.
And
we could do minor skill at best.
So
I
think
I still think that at a certain level, right, there has to be a balance. Because I have used Skatole in effective moments. I think it's pretty self-explanatory the times where you do use it skillfully. I don't think it's difficult. I don't think it actually takes a lot of skill. But is it fair enough to say that it takes minor skill at best? Sure. It takes minor skill at best.
Because like, let's just say, with Skatole, you're still using your base tiers. You're still using like the base skills of the game. But then with homing, it's just if you look at like a task bot, they're probably using like tier momentum like crazy, and they're probably like doing like some crazy stuff. And then now with homing, it's just like, well, they just are not really doing that nearly as much, and their gameplay looks more similar to your skill, and your skill looks more similar to a low skill player. Like,
I wonder how different a task. This would be so interesting to see. I wonder how different a task run would be with homing compared to that same run without homing. That'd be so interesting to see. Because theoretically, it would probably only be a little bit of time save, but maybe there's something that we're not thinking about, right? I mean, Task can do some crazy stuff. Like, I would think that it would only save, like, a little bit of, like, maybe 1 second a room. But to be fair, 1 second a room is a lot. Like, I would imagine, like, because you could just instantly shoot one enemy the moment you walk into a room. Instead of, like, needing to line up.
Is this with or without homing? I missed up.
With Spoon, is what I was just saying. Because, even a task would still have to get into a position where they can actually shoot the enemy. Like, let's say there's rocks in the way, like right at the entrance.
Well, what I'm saying is that without homing, it would take more skill to be able to get into that position. But then without homing,
to be fair, I'm not making a point right now. That was just something I'm curious about. I'd be interested to see that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. What I want to try and rank is like when comparing a high and low skill player, and there's an item. How does the gap get wider or smaller? And I guess with most items, like damage up, I guess the gap does become smaller because the game becomes easier.
Right.
But it's just like
No, I agree that
I
agree that we should not specifically rank the game gets easier for the most part. I don't know. It is tough because like there is a part of me that wants to say that we should count the enemy patterns literally just becoming easier. Okay, so like here's a good example. Would you rank stopwatch? What would you rank that?
That's that makes reaction times easier.
Yeah.
So it does was it? It makes the gap smaller. It just makes everybody like just more precise, more sharp, and there's not really many like techniques to use with it that I'm aware of. Like,
so okay, that's kind of what I mean. Like, I feel like okay, it does take negative skill. I agree, but what I'm saying is, why should we just completely ignore the ability of Skatole that it makes fly enemies just simply irrelevant, right? That is still an effect of the item that we are effectively ignoring, but we are now we would be accounting for stopwatch.
No. Well, what I'm saying is that what is it? With the high and low skill player, like it still affects both of those players. That make the flies irrelevant. Like it makes this room is free. Well, it's free for both players. But then what is it? With stopwatch, it's like okay, somebody doesn't have like the quite because reaction times is dependent on your familiarity with what you're reacting to. So there's something new. There's a lot of cognitive load, so you're not reacting that quickly. But then because of that, somebody who's not familiar with the boss will be able to react more closely to somebody who is familiar with the boss, where they have quicker reaction times with it. So it is kind of reducing that skill gap there.
I see. Okay. I don't mind doing minor skill. Let's just leave it at the bottom though, because it's still like I don't know. I still want to at least have a little bit of consideration for its positive effect. Well, no, not it. I shouldn't say its positive effect. You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like I would put it higher, but
well, how high?
Sure.
Like, what is okay? How much skill would it actually take to use it? I still think the skill of Triple Shot and Brother Bobby is still vastly higher. It takes way more skill to use those items.
I think I'm generally an advocate for just all the items being higher, and just in general, where I think people just are not using most items to their full potential.
Well, I agree. No, I agree. All these items are not being used to their full potential. But I think all the items above Skatole right now are way... Like, even though people know what these items do more than Skatole, probably, I still think that there's way more potential with all the items above it. 100% than Skatole. Way more potential. You could definitely master more of the timing with triple shots. You could definitely aim better with Brother Bobby. You could definitely learn enemy patterns better with number 1. You could definitely, like, every one of these.
I think that, what is it? So, since I'm not actually certain about the Skatole thing, like, I actually don't know how hard it is to use Skatole, like, to its fullest extent. It's hard for me to justify it being any higher. So yeah, I think that's I think outside of negative skill, because it does have that application.
Well, it really depends on what we are ranking. Are we ranking highest skill or average skill in terms of value? We are ranking how hard is it to use the item at a basic level. Well, no, like just in general, like how hard or like what are we how much skill does it take to use the item, right?
So yeah, I think Skatole there is probably fine. I think because it has an application at all, it probably should be above negative skill, but you know,
That's fine.
since it does, you know.
That's fine, but you were saying earlier that you would rank it higher, and I'm saying like, how? Like all these items have way more application.
It's I think it's fine because I'm saying that maybe I would rank it higher. But we'll just leave that. We'll leave that there. We'll just move on to whatever else.
Stats. This is a full heal, so that's relevant. Probably 1-up range, I would imagine, right? Actually, no. Maybe it's minor, because 1-up definitely takes way more decision, right? Oh, but this is based on picking it up though. So
yeah, the point of pickup is important with this. I think we can't remove picking it up altogether because that is a part of
actually
some of
no.
items.
I think Okay, how about we just rank this, and then this item will just take care of every single item that on pickup fully heals you. Like that effect.
I guess just like healing effects, because a lot of health ups just give a healing
Because they
effect,
all do that. Like they all give like health effects.
It's like the same thing but just amplified.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'd say like, and also this also is a health up, so you can utilize health as a resource. It also can make using health as a resource easier. So so I'd say probably. I don't think it goes higher than low skill. Maybe the bottom of low skill.
Yeah, I'm thinking kind of the same way. Being able to utilize red health for min-max utility is very important.
Because it still has the same thing as 1-up, where you just you leave soul hearts on the floor intentionally, which is this is a pretty big part of the item, is to just leave soul hearts on the floor, and I don't think most people do that.
Yeah.
And then you see this. This is a boss room item, right? No, it's a treasure room item. But yeah, so okay, it's a treasure room. So you specifically leave things on the floor in case you find healing effects like this, and then you see it, and then you're like, oh cool, I'm just going to play out the rest of the floor, then come pick this up later. Actually, I hurt myself, then pick this up later, and then use the effects, and then go and get soul hearts that I left on the floor before I even saw this item. So
I agree. I think that's a fine spot. Bottom. Oh shoot, wrong one. Bottom of low skill. That's fine.
It's
That's fine. And then this could also just be like health up in general. I guess.
Yeah,
I can even
right now we don't have anything in mid skill or high skill. I can see like some things going up.
I can actually see 1-up
okay.
specifically being mid skill, because the decision to use 1-up does, it's thought provoking, right? Like you could potentially use it in the wrong moment, and that could end your run, and that'd be a skill issue, right?
Yeah, I think 1-up going up. It definitely like choosing when to use it, because with a heart, you are using it when you see it. Like there's no other option.
Let's be real here. Most of the time you're just picking the health up and it's a health up, right? And most of the time that's the optimal play, right? There's lots of times where you could leave the soul hearts on the floor and min-max before, and then get the full health, and that's useful. But most of the time, well, maybe not most of the time, but many times, it'll spawn. You have nothing to utilize the full heal with. You just pick it up. It's very simple. There's no skill there when that happens.
Yeah, I think with a 1-up, there are probably a lot of situations where it actually would have been the optimal play for me to go for, and I just didn't
think about it exactly. Yeah, I agree.
And so something that's actually a problem with this tier list is that we're kind of ranking things that are like beyond our skills. Like, oh, there's probably situations. I can see situations where this would be the case. But then these are like, this is all theoretical.
Right. I mean, hell, you could even argue that an item like this could be, that certain items could be high skill because we don't even do it ourselves, right?
It is hard to keep track of like every little thing. Like you will overlook some things.
Yeah.
And I think with this, you probably.
Yeah, it's fine. whatever. It's a good way to talk about items. Whatever. It's kind of fun at least to talk about like the niche strategies or whatever. It does, you know, take the actual list with a grain of salt. You know, sometimes me and Turt will just use tier lists as a way to talk about stuff. You know.
Yeah, this is a more casual list. So like it's just an excuse.
It's not as anal. The placements basically. Don't worry about the placement as much, and you know, focus on the conversations instead. That being said,
I think so. Skeleton Key and Dollar, we should rank them together, like at the same time. I think Dollar is a lot higher skill than Skeleton Key because there are way more places to use money.
Yeah.
So there's and when you use money, there's a lot more times where you're actually running out of money. Like you can just be like, oh, here's a slot machine. Do I want to spend all my money on this? But then even if you want to use all your keys, a lot of time you're just not using 99 keys.
I guess we probably should just like get rid of the idea of like we should just like consider picking it up at a certain point. Because a big part of the skill of this item is picking it up at the right moment.
Yeah, I think we should definitely.
That's fine then.
Pickup is important, I think. I guess the difference between this and like number one is that with this you're choosing when to pick it up, but then with number one it's if I want to pick it up. So
I think for the most part though, many times this will spawn, and you know the strat is to just spend all your money in the shop or whatever and then pick it up so that way you get the most out of its pickup.
So this is okay. No, I think this is mid skill. This is definitely mid skill.
Well, okay, what are we ranking? Are we ranking the ability to use the money or?
Yeah, like well, because I think using coins takes a lot. Like there's a lot that you can use it on. It's such a versatile resource that you need to consider like a lot of things with money. Like a high skill player will get so much more out of dollar than a low skill player.
Right. That's fine. I agree. Money's very versatile. I do think it's still lower than 1-up because it is still very. I think
1-up's a more unique effect.
Exactly.
Like with dollar,
and more
there are times where you just have enough money.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. More importantly, I think it is way easier for an average player to know how to use money than for an average player to know how to use 1-up. Like,
I guess
money is simpler. It's funny because it is diverse.
Well,
you could use money in so many different ways, but the knowledge to know what to optimally use your money on is gained much more easily. If that makes sense. Like you get practice every single run in how you should optimally use money.
So they're both a resource. Like these are both like resource management items. One the resource is health, and one the resource is money. But also with 1-up, the resource is health and is locked behind a specific condition that you have to know when to use. So I can see because of that, because of the condition. So it has that resource and it has the condition, and you need to know when to use the condition and also what you can use that resource on. Which combining those two things together makes it harder than dollar. But then
needing a skill to use dollar is crazy. You know, I do agree with the points that we said, but it's funny because I also agree with chat and saying needing skill to use dollar is crazy. Because I also agree. It's like, I don't know. It's using money is easy though. I guess it's just game knowledge, but it's such simple game knowledge is the thing that's throwing me off. Like we all know how to use money optimally, right?
Does everybody know how to use money optimally?
I think so. Like, again, it's like I said. I think because you use money every single run, no matter what character you are, no matter what anything, you have so much practice using money that...
Okay.
Just, like, inherently...
I don't think a lot of people actually have a lot of practice, like, using money. Okay, would you say the same thing for health? Like for using health as a resource? Because those opportunities appear a lot. Like every single run, you will find something to use health as a resource on, right?
Hmm.
So would you say that everybody has that skill?
I mean, I'm not. I'm saying I think that they're similar. I think. Would I say everybody has the skill to use health effectively? No. And actually, wait a minute. You bringing that up, I think you were trying to say the opposite point, but I think that
Health.
I think that made me realize that
Well,
health
health-
is harder to use than money.
It's
Wait,
up to
health
you.
is harder to use than money. Health has way more skill to use than money. Money, you could just use it all. You could actually just use all the 99 coins, and what do you lose?
Yeah, I guess so knowing when to weigh up health, like health as a offensive or defensive thing, and health as a resource. You need to weigh up those.
I
things.
agree. Health is more skill to use than money. Way more skill to use than money, because you utilizing that health could make or break the run. Whereas the 99 coins, if you spend your money on the wrong item, let's say you, I don't know, you wasted your money on a bad item in the shop, and then you lose a good shop item. You lost a good shop item, big whoop. If you mess up your health min-maxing, you could just lose.
Yeah. No, I think health is a harder resource to use.
It's actually way harder to use. Maybe we were overrating dollar.
I think we're underrating one up. Actually, I can see, what is it?
Well, no, I'm saying, I actually am starting to think it should be like this.
No, I think, what is it? Just any item that has to do with like resource management. Because I think because money is such a versatile resource. Like, okay, so this applies to both 1-up and money, where in order to be able to use these, you need to be able to know how to find like secret rooms effectively, because you see, like super secret rooms, because you can see like a fortune teller machine or a blood donor inside a super secret room. And also just like knowing like how to get arcades to spawn is like, okay, I have 5 coins. To know that, to spend money, like things like this, to be able to use resources to like even find a place to spend the money is a skill. Because like with a lot of other items, you just are not using them in that way. There's not like a million places to use it that applies to every part of the game, like there is with money and health.
I actually think maybe we were just underrating health in general. Do you want to actually do this?
Yeah, no, I think anything to do with resource management actually by default deserves to go like decently high.
I disagree with money, actually. I think the more I think about it, the more it's like,
I will agree that
you know what else?
Actually,
okay, if we're ranking skill, tell me I'm wrong. If we're ranking skill, the quarter is way higher skill to use.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that dollar is like enough.
You get so much money that you have so much wiggle room that it's not even skillful to use. It's so easy to use.
I think there are money sinks, and knowing like when to do that and how to find them and everything does take skill. But yeah, I think that dollar being there is fine, and then quarter will be higher because you do still need to think about money and how to use
money
that.
management is not what we're ranking. We're ranking dollar. Dollar is not hard to use. Theoretically, the money management of something like quarter could be relevant, right? In fact, I think it is relevant quite a lot. There's a lot of times where I get the what's it called? There's a lot of times I get quarter from like a devil deal, and I'm like, oh, there's 2 shop items that I want to buy, but I only have 25 coins. I gotta, that decision is important, right? Or maybe I don't even want to spend my 15 coins on either shop item. Maybe I want to save for the next shop, right? But
there's a restock machine, or there's a slot machine.
But if you get 99 coins, it's always the optimal play to just buy probably both items, because you're gonna make that money right back, and you don't want to be at the cap 99 coins, because then you're just wasting money whenever you pick up coins, right?
It's Yeah, no, there are a lot of points where skill is just irrelevant with dollar, and you just spend it as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think a higher skill player will be able to spend money better, and actually be able to use that money. Because I think with a low skill player, they will just remain at the money cap more often, just because they just all they see is the shops, and then that's it. That's all I can spend my money on. And then high school players like finding all these like little things to spend the money on, and but also dollar is a lot of money, so
Right.
Okay. What is it?
I'm
and it's a skeleton key as well.
Oh, right. Hold on, really quick. IMO Victor says IMO startup should be all neutral. Yes, they all have lower floors, but they could all be used to a better degree. For example, you can be skilled at hitting every single tier at a high rate. We kind of just made an agreement that we weren't going to rate all the stats. We might rate one of each stat up.
Stat engine and negative skill. I think stat engine can go up to, or just unrank it, or just up to minus skill, because to optimally, it does make hitting all your tiers a bit easier, but also to optimally use that to hit every single tier does become harder. So it actually kind of balances itself out.
I guess you're technically right. I didn't think about it like that.
So yeah. So I think
if we're not ranking, yes, correct. If we're not ranking it making the game easier, it technically does make it harder to hit every shot because we're shooting more shots. That's ranking more skill ceiling.
It's
I almost wonder if we should just get rid of the takes negative skill tier. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's still throwing me off, the spoon bender. Like I feel like it's weird to say that this makes the game easier, but we're not ranking how it makes the game easier, and we are fully ignoring the knowledge that it takes to stay in like safe spots, right? And it is always easier. That's why we put it at the bottom, at the beginning of the list, right? Because we said, oh yeah, no matter what, it just fully makes the game easier, and that's why we left it here. But now that we are, refining the criteria, I think it makes more sense to only include the additional skill that you use when you have the item. And that's, positioning, right? Positioning is the skill of Spoonbender. It's not like it's hard to do. It definitely would not be high at all. But it's still skill. I would not say it's negative skill. But like, if we're not ranking how an item makes the game easier, then why would Spoon be lower? You know what I mean?
Well, I've already kind of gone over this, but it's the skill expression with the item is just there's little skill expression with the item because it is automated. Like just say with Sad Onion, it's there is skill expression of like, okay, I've got to hit every single shot. I need to aim every shot, which does take skill to use. But with the Spoonbender, it does have like the niche examples where you're hiding behind a rock and you shoot. But that's first of all, that's really easy to do, and it just does not outweigh just like the complete lack of skill expression because it's homing. It is just one of the easiest items to use. Like, okay, if we're trying to use it optimally to like 100% capacity, I think it is one of the easiest items to do that with.
Yeah.
Because it is automated. That's like the point of it, is that, So I think
it gives skill. Yeah, I get it. But I also don't want to rank it tiers up, like.
Well, yeah, we can remove the stat ups. I think stat ups is just who cares? Put it down back down in the pits.
You mean just get rid of it?
Yeah.
That's
and I think that.
I'm okay with that. It is just weird to rank stat ups. I don't know. It's weird to wrap your head around it. I think it's just weird for criteria specifically. That's fine. Okay.
Skeleton key is just.
I mean, does it take any skill like at all? You just
see. I don't think you're ever.
You get 99 keys.
you're ever well, it's just like, okay, how do you know, using keys as a resource, but also you're not really making decisions. It's just use the keys.
Yeah, you're using all your keys. Even on a... I think I've only ever gotten Skeleton Key and run out of keys once in my entire life, and it was just because of a really greedy key bum. That being said...
I've tested key bums, and I think they tend to pay out up to like 30 to 40.
Yeah.
So you need to find like 3 of them to actually, you know, and you're not really going to do that.
Yeah, and that's only happened once. Every other time, I usually just like end a run with like 70-something keys, you know, like something crazy. So it's... I mean... Does it... I mean...
That's, either we don't rank it, or it's just fucking minor skill. At best.
We might just not even rank it. I don't see any reason to rank it. There's nothing interesting to gain from... Like, if I look at this tier list at the end and be like, oh yeah, skeleton keys here, nobody cares. Like, there's no skill expression with having a bunch of keys, you know?
Yeah. So, actually, 10 bombs is a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Because that
Resource
is...
management.
It's like, it's low enough that you will, like, if you are using your bombs optimally, you will run out of this, probably. Yeah. Unless you have, you know, like a min-max item that is, you know, like humbling bundle that is giving you enough that you're not running out. But, you know, on a lot of normal runs, you know, if you're trying to find super secret rooms on the later floors, you will be using a lot of bombs unless you get really lucky. So it just, you know, the resource management items are a bit weird because it is just the resource that we're kind of ranking essentially. Like the number is relevant, but
if I were to rank specifically the number, like in the scenario where you get 10 bombs specifically, I will say actually the fact that it's 10 and not 5 like the other bombs, it does kind of give me that same like dollar feeling, because in that moment 10 bombs is a lot of bombs. Like, if you get this early game, when you have, like, no bombs, that's a lot of bombs. Obviously, you will run out if you just spend them willy-nilly, obviously. But that's much... I think there's much more skill expression with, like, you know, the 5 bomb items, right? Rather than 10. Because 10, there's a lot more leeway, right? You have a lot more... It's why I wanted this item ranked, like, 1 or 2 tiers above the 5 bomb items, because I think just having more bombs is better than having a bomb effect most of the time. At least for a lot of bomb items, not all of them, but yeah.
Not got an active item yet.
Right. I do think there's a good bit of leeway, but it still takes more skill, definitely than dollar at least.
Actually, you know what? I could see Skeleton Key actually going in negative skill. What BK said is what is it? Do you have the skill expression?
Whether you want to spend your keys or not. I agree. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
A decision becomes not a decision.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 10 bombs is probably somewhere in like low skill, because okay, so the skill of this is knowing all the places you can use bombs.
Yeah.
You know, being able
knowing
to do
where
map
secret
reading.
rooms are, stuff like that.
Knowing if you should explode,
knowing if you
like
should
slot
risk,
machines and stuff,
knowing if
bombs.
you should risk wasting a bomb or not, you know, all that.
Sorry. And also using a really relevant thing, which actually maybe might put it up to mid skill, is using bombs offensively.
Yeah, sure.
They can be tricky to use offensively, and if you have 10 bombs, then you probably should be using.
Here's the thing,
some
though.
Offensive.
Here's the thing, though. Oh, this is where it gets weird. The item is giving you the resource, but I don't think we should rate the resource. I feel like we should only rate because like then we're just ranking bombs. And I don't want to rank bombs. I want to rank these 10 bombs. And here's the thing, are you ever going to use any of these 10 bombs for combat? Probably not, realistically. You're probably like in most scenarios, it is more skillful to save these 10 bombs. Like, let's say you get an early game. It is more skillful to save these 10 bombs for your early game min-maxing. And I guess, you know, if you get it late game, like, I don't know.
Because I feel like, well, if you're just using bombs, if you get 10 bombs and you are just using them for min-maxing, then you probably can get pretty far. Like, just say if you just didn't pick up any more bombs, you probably could get like decently far. Like, you know, if you see it like basement 1, you probably could just get to like, I don't know, like caves 2 maybe, caves 1, 2, 2. Yeah, caves 2. You could get to like caves 2 without even, you know, needing to like warrior without running out, and then you're finding bombs on top of that. So
I don't know if it's actually optimal. I think, okay, I'll put it this way. Deadass. Oh, this is interesting, actually. So 99 coins, I think, is less skill expression. This might be a case where I actually want to rank an item out of order.
I think we can do that.
I think Pyro is high skill. Because Pyro, instantly, when I get Pyro,
that is offensive bombs right there.
That's offensive bombs, 100%. This is the item that I get where, hey, I'm going to start using bombs offensively. And I do. Every time I get this item, I use bombs offensively. I have enough to a point where I can use them on min-maxing. But at the same time, if you waste too many bombs on min-maxing, then you don't have enough bombs. Because you can run out of bombs. So there's many times where I get 99 bombs, and I run out of all the 99 bombs because I'm wasting them too much on bosses and stuff, right? There is, unlike Dollar, you have to do both, right? You have to...
I agree that using bombs offensively is a skill, but also it is removing the resource management part.
I agree.
So it's a negative skill in that way. So if it's just the combat part, then that could maybe be high skill, but also, the other part is like negative skill, like skeleton key. So I think that goes mid skill. And I think with like 10 bombs, it is actually somewhat more skill to know when you should be using the bombs for combat and when you should be doing them for resource management. Because you have enough that you can use some bombs for combat.
I think I generally... 10 bombs is really hard to justify for in battle, for in combat.
I disagree.
I guess 10 isn't... it's not 5.
It's kind of
it's tough. I mean, that's a player difference, right? But with 99, I think
if you're struggling with 10 extra bombs, you're probably struggling with no bombs as well. And there are times where you just don't have the plus 10 bombs and you are still using them for combat. So I think with 10 bombs, you are. If you find like little bomb,
I'll admit I'm thinking of this when I see 10 bombs, I almost always only think of the item like early game. Because that's when I see most of its benefit. So that's basically what I'm considering here. If I get 10 bombs late game, I probably already have 20, 30 bombs saved up anyway for bosses, even without the plus 10 bombs.
What you're saying is that like you usually by the end of the game you have like 20 bombs.
Yeah.
So, well, then if you get, you start off the game, you have 10 plus 10 bombs, then by the end of the game you probably have 30 bombs instead of 20 bombs. So you probably should use some of those bombs for combat.
Right.
And I think the way, with bombs, how it works is that, the more you have, the more liberal you become. Like 99 bombs, you use a ton for combat. And with like 10, if you have 10, it's like, okay, I'm willing to maybe use some of these for combat. And then if, as I start to dwindle more and more, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll just use it for super secret rooms. And then maybe I'll just try to find secret rooms. Maybe just tinted rocks if I've only got 1 or 2. It's then you kind of start to change priorities. And I think 10 is like the point where it's like, yeah, I am using them for combat sometimes.
This is the list where we debate over 10 and 99 bombs.
And I think recognizing when you should switch from your different priorities with how you use those bombs is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
When to be kind of stingy with them and when not to be stingy with them, that is a skill.
I agree.
So I think what is it? So I think 99 bombs goes into mid skill.
That's fine.
Because
I do still think it. I actually do still think that it opens up it opens up bombs into being optimal to use. Whereas most scenarios, if you know what you're doing, you know enemy patterns, there's just no reason to waste a bomb. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you could use bombs for combat, but there's many bosses where, and you know, enemy rooms and whatever, where there's no reason to waste a bomb. Yes, you can, but why would you? If you know you won't get hit. Like, if you're confident enough in your ability.
There are what is it? And usually you do not like run into these situations because you have enough damage, but bosses become significantly harder when you cannot effectively deal with the minions they spawn. And this happens more so with early game bosses like Lil Blob, is that you can encounter him on
Lil Blob's a
floor
good
2
one
or 3.
To use bombs on.
Where just like doing a single bomb on him can make it significantly easier. And another one is with like
Rag
Hush.
Mega is a good one.
I think Hush is like, because Hush can spawn like the swarm, and if you do not have the capacity to deal with that swarm, it becomes significantly harder of a boss.
To me, Pyro equals in combat bombs. 10 bombs. I do value the decision making, but I just don't. Something about it.
Yeah.
Something about it. It just doesn't feel like it's ever realistically.
Like, I think where it is right now is fine. Do you think that's fine?
Yeah. But you think both of these are fine, these placements?
Yeah, they seem about right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That feels about right.
I can see like maybe 10 bombs going to like the bottom of mid skill, but like being at the top of low skill, it's like, sure, why not?
If you really want it there, I don't mind that much.
No, I can see it being at the top of low skill as well. So just we'll put it at the top of low skill. We'll see.
That's fine. Okay. Flight takes negative skill. No. You literally gain more ability to dodge.
I would say this. I would say that it takes negative skill, but I'm kind of skeptical on that a bit, just because of the whole. People say that what is it? Spectral. What is it? People saying that Spectral is better with flight than without flight, and I don't think that's true.
I think you saying that is completely. I told the same thing to Turt. I agree from a computer standpoint that y'all are correct. For a actual person who makes human errors, yes, Spectral is better with flight. Because people get impatient and they will walk out the rock and get hit.
There we go. Wait, there we go. So patience is a skill.
Yes.
Do you think that patience is a skill?
Yes.
And I think with patience, flight becomes a lot better if you.
But that doesn't matter because we're not ranking. Okay, so this is relevant when we rank Spirit of the Night, right? I agree. I think this item takes more skill to use than Spirit of the Night, and that's exactly why Spirit of the Night is higher on the all items list, because an item that takes less skill is a better item because it makes the game easier. That was my whole point. Anyway, let me stop. Yes, I agree. This item takes more skill than Spirit of the Night, but I guess, you know what? No, I mean, this is why I don't like this negative skill tier, man. I completely agree with why you with why it is the way that it is.
Okay.
It's annoying because to me this tier is basically these items make the game easier. But that is not what we're ranking the other items based on.
So, yeah, it is like a little bit weird. I don't think many items will go in there. I think we just happen to get like 2 that happen to go in there quickly. I think, what is it? It's just, there's basically like no way you can construe these as being higher skill. Like that's like the type of tier that it is. And like, what is it? In order to construe it as higher skill, you have to be like really like splitting hairs. Like there's just very little skill expression within them. But I think what is it? Knowing how to like go from like rock to rock with Transcendence and like be able to like play around like not having spectral with it actually does, and just being able to just wait inside of a
Yeah,
rock.
I agree.
Like,
And knowing enemy
stand there and
patterns.
do nothing. Like stand there and do nothing and just kind of wait for an opening.
But you see, that's the
Like,
annoying
that
thing,
does
because I could say
feel-
the same thing about Spoon. I brought the same argument up
How so?
before. There are enemies that can only shoot in a specific manner. You can literally stand in a position with Spoon that they cannot hit you. With regular tiers, you need to go into their path and shoot them. And that, like, that does take negative skill because it's easier to use Spoon. But I could say the same thing for Flight because I don't need to approach the enemies that can just walk through rocks, right?
Actually, no, with Spoon, actually, that is a decent point of like where because you have. More
That's what I said
agency
earlier.
over
Positioning
your
is a
position.
skill of Spoon.
What is it? Because since you have more agency over your skill, you have more agency over your position when an enemy is killed. You can specifically position yourself.
I mean, this is literally one of the biggest reasons why I rose Spoonbender in the all items list because I realized a lot about that item. I was like, wait a minute, you could think this way, and to me that is skill. But overall, it makes the game way easier. But if we have this tier, this is the only tier that's basically saying, oh yeah, these items make the game easier. But none of these other items are being ranked based on
making
making the
it
game
easier.
easier.
No, what is it? Reduces the skill expression is what.
But I also agree that it reduces the skill expression when you have Flight. You don't need to, like, that is literally deleting an aspect of dodging for so many enemies.
I actually think that because I did because Turt tested this when people were saying that with the spectral plus flight thing, he did test it, and I watched some of those tests, and the way he was playing was just actually pretty different to how most people would play it, and he was playing like very safe. That's it is actually hard to like be in the mindset to play like that.
That's what I'm saying.
He was playing in the optimal way, and it's just like if I were to try to fucking play like that, it would be kind of hard actually.
I agree. And that's why Spirit of the Night is a higher tier item by a few tiers, bro. Thank you for agreeing with me too, Wiggly. Yes, sir.
You have low skill.
Anyways.
I'm not arguing for low skill anyway. But I think like that there's actually a pretty big difference in playstyle that like I saw there.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I'm just not convinced that homing is actually even close to that. Like,
what you mean in terms of skill?
like the difference in play style of a high skill player and a low skill player, or like using this optimally and using the effects that it gives optimally.
I guess specifically Flight with no spectral. Flight with no spectral. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm underrating it. I agree, actually. Flight with no spectral does have more to think about, quite a bit. If we're ranking skill specifically, there's quite a bit to think about, actually, when you're actually playing. You need to know enemy patterns. You do. I agree.
I think I think we should not compare the item to base Isaac because we should try to avoid doing that because compared to base Isaac, most of these items will just have less skill within them because you are just stronger. So you kill enemy faster, think less. But I think we should just be comparing the item to itself with different players.
Okay, I agree. Let's not compare to base. Delete this tier. Delete this tier. There's no reason to have this tier.
But no, well,
how is it negative skill if we're comparing it to nothing?
Okay, I think actually with this, so with this,
It
I
could
think
still,
Skeleton Key should go Adam negative skill, but I think Spoonbender should stay there.
but
Because if we're comparing the item to itself between different players, then I think that still exists. But then with Skeleton Key, then, well, different
but
players.
there was still something to think about.
Like, okay, yeah, well, okay, we can, sure, you can remove the tier if you want.
I don't know. It's just I don't like how it's the only tier that is basically based around making the game easier.
Okay, you're just arguing against Spoonbender in the all items list, is what I'm saying. The higher you want to put Spoonbender, the the lower tier it is. But that's fine. You can.
Well, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with Spoonbender specifically. It's the tier.
Yeah.
The tier. I'm still saying it should be the bottom of the list. Don't get me wrong. But the tier.
Yeah, you can get rid of the tier. That's fine. It is kind of a weird tier. It does complicate. I think it's probably way less complicated without the tier. It's probably things would probably flow better with it. Gone. So, yeah. What were we talking about 2 seconds ago? What was the last item we ranked? I have no clue. We were just looking at the resource management things, I think.
You should.
No, flight. That's what it was.
Yeah, no, flight actually does have some skill expression. I agree. Flight with nothing. There's stuff to think about. Whereas an item like hell, let's do it again. Screw it. Where's Spirit of the Night at?
Because
actually,
there is a skill to like edging towards the edge of a rock as well.
Yeah, there is.
Because with Spirit of the Night, you stand on top of the rock, you shoot. But then with what's it called? Transcendence.
I have no idea where the hell Spirit of the Night is.
I don't even know what it looks like, so I can't help you.
Is this it?
Wait, no, there it is. Yeah, that's it.
Spirit of the Night is minor skill at best, probably like right here.
Because you can use it because it is spectral. You can use it to shoot through things.
It is still there is still like the factor of running into a rock and being safe, but not needing to edge out of rocks or no enemy patterns. It actually Spirit of the Night. The reason why I think Spirit of the Night is so much better than just a basic flight item is because it deletes the possibility of being hit by human error, by impatience, right? If patience is a skill, this literally deletes so many impatient moments that could happen, right?
I think that for the all items list, I think that the patience is a skill that you should have, and it's not unreasonable to have that. But yes, for this, it's like but it is a skill. Learning to do that. So there is that difference.
I just have a different way of ranking, I guess. I assume that people will not be robots. But yes.
I don't think playing with Transcendence I don't think you have to be a robot. You could do it, but
well, no, you can, of course. No, that's not what I'm saying. I just mean like Spirit of the Night is so free, and that's a benefit of the item. Like, it's just like you will not reasonably be hit, but with human error, you could mess up Transcendence and potentially get hit. You won't mess up Spirit of the Night. You just won't. It's so easy. You get into a rock and you shoot. It's so simple, right?
So I think with this bottom tier, it's you can argue maybe it takes a little skill to use like some aspects of it.
And that's what I was trying to get at, right? There is something like yes, it's bottom of the list, but there's something I was able to bring up with Spoonbender, and that's positioning, right? It's something.
And I think that the splitting hairs between whether there's something and whether it's negative is just not a discussion worth having. But
yeah.
It's never a discussion of like whether these items should be like low skill. There's a pretty notable gap there, I think. So it becomes easier to differentiate them. So I think this is fine. You want to move to the next item?
Yeah.
A compass. Ooh, compass is minus skill. I think you can choose like where to go. You can choose what is it? Oh, I've got a lot of health, so I'm going to go to the sack room. Or I want to go straight to the boss because I've got soul. Is it soul? The one Radiant Victory. Fuck.
I think this only.
Skull. Yes. So you have more agency over like where you go. Like you can choose the order of things better, but like the order of things usually isn't that relevant.
It could be in boss rush specifically, rush marks.
Okay, I guess I forgot brush marks exist. Sure. But well,
because it does kind of change the name of the game a little bit for Compass. Because the moment you introduce rush marks, it's something that this item actually has. And
but okay, if you're doing rush marks, then I feel like, well, usually what you're doing is you're going straight towards the boss.
But you know, you can assess. There's a skill there, right? You could assess. Oh, hey, the item room is not that far away from the boss. I can make it there, right? And that assessment is a skill, right? Like, hey, should I take the extra few rooms to get that item room, or should I just go straight to the boss?
I guess what is it? You can look at the rooms in relation to each other, where it's like, okay, so there is you know, just say, okay, there's a path from the starting room. There's a path up and there's a path down, and you know the path down is probably a dead end because the path up, what is it? It has like all the rooms, where it's like, oh, the treasure room's up, the shop is up, the boss room's up, so that's probably where things extend. So going down is probably a mistake to do.
Mm-hmm.
So there is like map reading in that capacity, which I think that's true.
I think knowledge of the map is something. I think it could potentially just be like bottom low skill.
Yeah, maybe. I think. Do you want to rank treasure map as well?
Yeah, we can.
With this. Where is treasure map? It's only over there. So I think treasure map. There is a bigger knowledge gap here. Like,
yeah, definitely.
The boss
it's not as simple.
It will always. The boss room will always be the furthest room away. In outside of like rare exceptions. So. And then just like looking for like dead ends as well, just like knowing like, okay, so if I go here, this could. Also, there's like the skill of what is it?
That being said, do I think that the difference is that big of a gap that it would really be in many places?
No, it wouldn't be that many places. Maybe like one or two at the most. I don't think there's anything crazy high skill about it. Like I think the what is it? The skill floor is higher, where it's like, okay, you need to know how map generation works. But then once you know how map generation works, treasure map is actually more consistent, I think, of like, okay, you read it in this particular way. Also, knowing that the shop is the second furthest away as well. So you just know those things. Boss is furthest away, shop is second furthest away, and then maybe some of these dead ends could be, you know, these different things. And then the active item management. So there's definitely like some things to use there.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so Compass is more vague, and I think there is skill with it being more vague, because you kind of need to assume the map. So you kind of need to have. So for like low skill players, they'll probably be able to use Compass better than treasure map because they, you know, they don't know the map generation. But then for higher skill players, Compass kind of actually pulls back a bit because you need to assume the maps. You need to have like a lot of knowledge, like more knowledge about the map. To just assume like, okay, based off of these few rooms that I have, let me fill in the rest of it. Where's the most likely path? So I think treasure map is higher, but just like, yeah, a little bit higher. Nothing crazy.
You think one spout is fine then?
Yeah, maybe if with more items they could be a bigger gap, but yeah, that's probably fine.
Okay.
It's health. Yo, breakfasting though?
True!
Unreasonable skill to use because you need to learn how to do game breaks.
True. Probably just don't rank it.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of setups.
Doesn't heals like do something stupid? Some niche mechanic?
Oh, wait, no, all the range ups do fucking random things. But I just don't.
I almost don't even want to rank them.
Heal has contact damage, which is just like virus, so just lump it in with that.
Fine.
No, I'm saying no. Don't put it on. Just assume they're the same.
Oh,
like
right,
one
right.
represents both of them.
Right,
It's kind of like how you said the heart
Yeah.
is
I get it.
all the heals. And then getting 3 flies and pick up is just like no. That's who cares about that. Spawns a heart and pick up. That's just so irrelevant. That's
Yeah, don't worry about
none of
that.
those extra. Like nobody cares.
Bible.
Okay, no.
Yeah, first active item. Wow.
Cool.
Bible has some. Okay, if we've already established that we're including pickup, so I guess the context of dropping an active item is skill, right? In the assessment of taking Bible over your current active item in order to get the free mom or mom's heart kill could be relevant. You know, it takes some skill expression to analyze. Hey, what would be better, my current active item, or no? More importantly, is it worth getting rid of my current active item to get this? Because most of the time, the Bible is worse than what you have overall. But it is still a free mom and mom's heart kill. And
I think another aspect of active items is just using it on the floor that you see it. So
yeah,
there's a lot of active items where you're not taking it to the next floor, but it's like, oh, I can take Bible and I can get those few resources and then put it back down.
Exactly, the flight, yeah.
This applies to a lot of active items. Let's say the battle actives, but you can just like bring it to the boss if you want to. But I think it's more so the more passive ones. But I feel like
you know what I'm just now realizing? I almost kind of wish we just did this whole list with just active items.
Oh.
Because active items would be a lot easier to compare to each other.
Yo, let's end the stream here. Next stream.
Active items only. Yes, sir.
That? Because I feel like a lot of the relevant items are active items.
Yeah.
But there's still things like Yo, we can do a passive item list and then an active item list.
Anyway, whatever. We can finish it up. Whatever. Bible. Yeah. I agree.
Horrible.
I agree.
Okay.
The ability to use it same floor, for the flight min-maxing and all that, and the decision to drop your current active item for the free kills, the knowledge needed to not use it on Satan and kill yourself.
Yeah, knowledge checks are like a part of skill.
Yeah.
I think because I don't think this goes all that high because it's I guess it's a decision of like, do I want to use this as a
It's all
battle
decision
or a
based,
ritual?
right? It's not like it's hard to use, but it's all based on like assessing your situation, right?
If you're just using it for battle, or if you're just using it for resource management purposes, it's like I feel like usually you're able to use it. Usually you're able to get everything that you would want flight for. You're not really making a decision between several things with it.
How many charges is Bible again?
It's like 6.
Is it really 6? Are you really going to get
4.
all your flight min-maxing from it then?
Yeah, it's 4.
Oh, it's 4.
Yeah, it's 4. And I feel
you
like
you could probably get half. I feel like you might miss a few rooms with 4 charge.
I guess.
Like you're not like think about it, right? Like if you want to get full flight min-max, that means going into your cursed room the first time, right? Saving a hit. Any of those rooms where there's pickups in the rocks, or I don't know. That, I guess. I guess that's basically it. But still, there's a lot of those. Or maybe better bomb placement. I don't know.
And then there's a decision between using it as a battle or a resource active. And then there's also, then once you use it as a battle active, then there's just using flight in general, which is, transcendence.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like at least low skill. I think it's probably somewhere in low skill. But what do you think?
I think it automatically is more skill than Transcendence. Because you still have to decide when you use it.
I feel like, well, you're just using it less in general. Like, even if you want to use it, as much as possible.
But I guess the battle aspect of it.
The
battle aspect of it. I don't know. I feel like there's just more to think about. Whenever I see Bible, not when I have Bible, when I see Bible in a run, I think there's more to think about than when I have Transcendence.
Yeah, like, I think with the battle active part of it, since it only applies to some rooms, it's that part is lower than Transcendence, but because you are making the decision whether to use it as the battle and doing the decision between the battle and the min-maxing, makes it higher.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then, yeah, a lot of the times with Bible, there's pretty like clear use cases for it though. There's not. I feel like you're never really thinking too hard about where to use it. It's never like, oh, do I want this or that? A lot of times you can just get everything, or there's just like nothing really to use it on that's like that significant.
Mm-hmm. Where would you put it?
So, yeah, I think like where you put it there is just.
It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, probably. I think a lot of the rebirth items are going to be like lower, and then as we get to repentance, it's like, oh, this has like 20 effects stacked onto it.
Well, yeah, like, that's the all items list too. Belial is very simple.
It's just.
I guess it's 3-room charge, right? There is a certain level of strategy. Sometimes, like, I tend to use this in big rooms, and I think that's like a skill because it's knowledge gap, right? Like, it just makes sense to use this in big rooms. Usually they're harder, and then you get 2 charges for it. It only takes 1 more room to charge it for your boss, because you always want it for your boss, obviously. So I think the knowledge to use this on basically every big room, I think that's a skill, personally. That being said, it's not like it's hard to do, but, it's something. I think you're basically wasting this item if you're not using it on big rooms, personally.
Yeah, I do think big rooms are easier than small rooms because you tend to have more space to just run away all the time. But also,
well, yeah. I guess for okay, I should put it this way. I think a damage up is more. It feels more useful for a big room because there's more enemies to kill.
And also, just you get the 2 charges. Like, even though I say that, I still use this in big rooms just because
it's more benefit, more bang for your buck.
I will be able to get my charges back like so much quicker that I will just won't have to worry about saving it for the boss.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, yeah, it is just I'd say like the bottom of low skill, really.
Yeah,
it's
probably.
Just like the fact that it's inactive makes it like low skill, but. It's like basically as simple of.
It is literally just a damage up.
Outside of like telepathy for dummies.
Yeah.
So I think this and telepathy for dummies is like bottom of low skill.
Mm-hmm. Necronomicon.
High skill.
I hate this.
Actually, it's the same. It's kind of like the same principle of
But it's worse because it's more charge. Why isn't this 4-room charge?
Yeah.
Why is this more charge than Belial? I hate this item so much.
It does do a lot of rooms like literally for free because with what's it called, Belial, it is you still need to clear the room, but this it does do it for free, so that's probably why it's high charge. For bosses where usually you want to use battle actives, this is worse. So. Yeah, that's kind of the. Anyway, that's
I just think that I think there's less to think about for this item. Yeah, like the fact that that big rooms aren't really even free to use it on is like one thing. Like there's one knowledge gap there that Necronomicon like it doesn't even feel like good to use there because of the 1 extra charge. Like, and not like it matters though because it's just quite a bit less skill than Belial actually because. This isn't even going to give you much benefit for your boss anyway. So you probably just use it every time that it charges up, just cause. So like, what's...
Yeah, I think a lot of times you do just kind of use it as a passive.
Yeah. So like, what skill expression is there? You just use it, whatever. Like, there's nothing to think about.
Yeah, I think. I guess you walk into a room, you assess, is this room something that I can deal without Necronomicon?
Yeah.
Uh,
I
but-
think I'd actually put it
Yeah.
here personally. The assessment of using it on the right room is all it's got going for it. Whereas Triple and Brother Bobby have like literally like ways, like you have to specifically aim in a certain way, right? Like it in a way it changes how you shoot, right? Like if you want to be optimal with Brother Bobby, you want to shoot in a specific way, and obviously triple shot lowers your fire rate, so it's something to keep in mind, right? Even have some anti-synergies with triple shot.
I think Necronomicon is basically as simple as an active item can be.
Yeah, I think this is probably the
Like-
simplest active item. You just proc it
I'm
when
not sure
it
if there's
charges.
an active item below this one.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I agree. I think it has so little like urgency. Like you don't care to save up its charge, so there's not much to think about. You just use it, whatever. So where's the skill at?
Yeah, it's it's just.
I could
Yeah,
I could actually
that's
see these two moving up here personally.
Yeah, I could maybe see that as well.
You want to do it?
I like my boy Bobby. People don't know how to use him. That's why they underrate him.
That's fine.
Uh,
Yeah, I do definitely think there's a big gap between Belial and Necronomicon, though. So I think that's a tier shift.
so, poop.
Poop. Okay, unironically, high skill, bro. Hear me out, all right? Hear me out, Wiggly, all right? Hear me out, all right?
I'm hearing you.
How many people play as Blue Baby and they don't break the poop every single time, bro? They're throwing.
Yeah.
That's low skill. That's a skill issue. You need to
Okay,
break the
so-
poop every time, and patience is a skill. One room charge. You know how hard that is for people to break the poop every single room?
Okay, so
This is a
are we
patience gap.
factoring in Blue Baby into this?
I mean, I've been assuming that we get the item relatively early anyway. It doesn't really matter. I'm not thinking of...
because-
I'm sorry. I'm not thinking of the Blue Baby poop flies, if that's what we're talking about. I'm not talking about the flies. I'm just talking about, like breaking it every single room for, coins or whatever, right?
Because
Or
if we're
pet
talking about Blue Baby, there is like a utility of it that you just drop a poop.
Yeah,
every
you want to
single
drop
room.
it.
then you
Blue Baby's
get
completely
the-
different. I'm not going to rank Blue Baby.
Yeah, you do it every room, and then you
And then you
leave it
break
there,
them
and then
all
you get
at the end, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that utility of it. There's also the utility of just just breaking it to begin with.
That being said, we
some-
could, to be honest, if you want, I was mainly joking with my placement, but honestly, if you want to include that, because that is like a skill of new Blue Baby, to be fair.
We'll include that because why not? It's more discussion, more things to talk about.
Fair enough. Honestly, yeah. I mean, to be fair, most people who think about the poop think about Blue Baby anyway.
I think there are two things with poop that people do not do that actually is skill.
It's bombing
one
for the
is,
pits and doing the blue fly thing, right?
Well, there's those two things, but there's another thing, is that it actually does have utility within rooms for like combat usage.
Oh yeah.
Like if there's
You
like
can
a
block.
one wide gap, you can block enemies.
Yeah.
Or you can just create like a shield for yourself. Like, oh, I'm fighting Megasane, I'm gonna put a poop in front of me.
I actually do that every now and then.
Like,
Not super often, but yeah.
oh yeah, you can push enemies away as well. So it's like a knockback thing as well.
Dead ass.
What-
I said it as a joke, but especially if we're considering the blue fly thing with Blue Baby, then yeah, this is high skill. I don't think it's beyond reasonable, because I think anybody can. I think anybody can. Like, people can think of how they can improve with it. They just don't. Like, I think beyond reasonable skill to use is like. It needs to be like motor hard to do.
What is it?
Like,
Okay, so
Patience
you
is
weren't
a skill.
I thought you were. I think we were joking with the high skill thing.
I am not joking at this point, bro. Poop, listen, hear me out, right? The high patience needed to break this every single room for your consumables, all right? Or if you are Blue Baby, to do the fly thing. Many people don't do that, all right? Many people don't do that, all right? That is high skill, bro. The knowledge to do that.
No, I disagree. I think it's beyond reason to do that.
I agree.
No one has that level of patience.
I agree.
It's, I can't say insane. I'm upset.
I know. Insane.
We should put an insane tier that we put nothing in, but we have it just to say insane.
Poop. Insane. Maybe I should.
Insane. Just an insane tier that's aesthetic.
Insane. There's always got to be an insane tier. Come on now.
Make it purple. No, purple. There we go.
Insane.
Okay, next item.
Where would you unironically rate the poop?
I think at like bottom and mid skill, maybe.
That's fair.
Because there are like, I imagine most people who use this item do not even use like any of its uses except for just breaking it every single room.
No, but I'm saying people don't even do that. I'm saying people don't even do the bare minimum, which is breaking every room.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Then,
like, if we're ranking, you know, all skill and like what people are like underrating with these items, like with virus or whatever, like, you know, we just forget about the item. I cannot tell you how many people forget about the poop. Like, they just leave it there and they don't, you know, they're not optimal, which is break it all the time, or if you're a baby, save it for the flies. Poop bomb. A lot of people don't even know that's the thing you can do. And yeah, in combat.
yeah, I think the poop bomb thing is definitely like low skill by itself. And then just like the combat utility is just like actually pretty tricky, and like there's a lot of things you can do with it that I think gets overlooked quite frequently, and it is actually hard to use in a combat setting, but it can be effective, and that takes skill. So I think the combat setting is actually yeah, puts it up to mid skill with the on top of the min-max.
So you're sure that the poop takes less skill than Pyro and 1-up?
Okay, actually, well, we could think about it like this, is that with Pyro, like, that's also got, like, a, what is it, combat utility to it.
Of course.
So they both have combat utilities, and they both have, like, min-max utilities, I guess. And... You know, the combat utility of using bombs in combat, I guess since it's a single poop, I think that limits it, because,
That's true.
per room. Because it's like, you know, I use it to block shots against Mega Satan. Oh, it's destroyed now. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I am no longer using this.
Hey, it has synergies, though. Let me get my freaking 4.5 volt poop. My my 9 volt. Oh, no. It's 9 volt, yeah? Yeah, 9 volt poop, bruh. Use it multiple times. Hold on, you got 9 volt, you get infinite consumables. You just stay in a room with a host. Come on, that's high skill.
Oh wait, that? Huh. That is genuinely a thing to do with it.
I'm telling you, bro, high skill poop. 4.5 volt on the regen enemies. Infinite consumables. 9 volt. Battery for more consumables on big rooms, bro.
I think poop either goes into mid skill or insane tier. Nothing in between.
I'm just saying, it's insane.
It's insane.
Deadass, I actually think I would put it top of mid school. Maybe even bottom high skill. I'm not even capping.
I think was actually so something with bombs that you can do as well is just that you can place it down not next to an enemy and then use your tiers to push it towards an enemy.
Yeah. That's generally what you do for bosses.
Yeah, and that does take skill.
Yeah.
I think it's probably like a similar skill to use it with like as pyro. So, yeah, I'd probably put like something like that. Cause
Pyro or poop, bro. Pyro or poop.
I don't know. Do what you want. Do what your heart tells you.
The poop, bro. All the way, bro. Ain't know nothing about the poop. Anyway.
You're a fun buddy. What's it called? Boom?
Stream. This is... I just say, like... Yeah. I think the decision to use this is 2-room charge. You get a lot of min-max out of this in the early game. I think this does extra bomb damage to bosses, too. I think. Like, more damage than a regular bomb. Like, I think this is much more applicable to use in battle because it's an active. You know, you want to use it. You get this. You actively want to use it so you can charge it, right? If you have 2 charges, why would you not use it on the boss? You're gonna get a charge after you beat the boss anyway. It's not like the 10 bombs where, you know, you're still wasting one of your many bombs. This is something that you could choose to use. And
so it does as much damage as a Mr. Mega Bomb.
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting thing because it being an active item both adds and removes skill because
you could spam it a lot more, which is less decision making.
Because kind of what you said, it's like, okay, you're going into a boss with this, and it's like, oh, why wouldn't you use it? It's like, oh yeah, the decision is made for you there.
That being said,
then, you know, if you have
I would almost even disregard that because you still have to use it in combat. Like you know, you gotta still maybe shoot the bomb at the boss or whatever. Like to me, this equals always using it on a boss, which is still like higher skill than just choosing not to use a bomb and save it, like that decision. I think the decision to save a bomb is not as skillful as 100% using the bomb on the boss. Like I think the skill to actually use the bomb is still higher, like weighted higher.
But okay, so even for like for min-maxing effects, it's so that's something with you know, it being forced is that, you know, you need to be able to effectively use it when you're being forced to use it, which is after every second room. It's like, okay, I've got these 3 rooms to use it in, and I should use it now to try and find a secret room within these constraints. So that does take skill, but also the fact that it's forcing it does take a little bit less skill rather than just wait till the end of the floor.
I think it is still also skill to remember to use it every time it charges. Since it's only 2 charges, you know, out of all the rooms that you've explored on that floor, you want to assess, maybe you want to use your, the active, so that way, like, maybe you'll take a guess on a secret room even though you're not sure it could be there. Like, you didn't check all the rooms around, to, like, see if, this is going to be likely where the secret room is. But you may as well try it because you don't want to waste charges, right? Because there's more rooms to clear. So it's kind of like, that's a decision as well, right? Or you could save that charge and be more sure and go into the next room. So that way you don't waste it. Or you could go mid-room. I've actually done this before. I go mid-room to check if the secret room could be there while the enemies are there. Bomb for the secret room during the enemy wave, so that way you get the charge.
Kill the enemies as well.
Yeah.
While bombing for it.
Exactly. Which is skill. Yeah. I would argue.
It's taking your active item slot of decide, do I want to replace the active item?
That's a decision. I would argue.
I think it probably goes like it's probably similar to like 5 bombs ish, where. Because 10 bombs, it's like, okay, I'm kind of just using this to min-max. I'm doing it in the ways that's obvious. But then, boom, you kind of have to use it in a unique way. So you need to think about that. So yeah, what do you think? So you think that? I think that's fine. What?
I almost want to put it above Pyro. Is that crazy?
Above Pyro? You are kind of just like spamming the bombs for...
Because Pyro, okay, I'll put it this way: Pyro equals bomb combat to me, but there's no decision making with Pyro. Well, okay, I shouldn't say there's no. You still don't want to waste your bombs on min-maxing, because if you want to save an adequate amount of bombs for endgame...
I think the difference between Pyro and Boom is that with Pyro, against a bot, like let's say you're fighting Mum's Heart and you are kind of low in damage, and you have Pyro, you have the bombs. You want to be using that instead of your damage, or even in addition to your damage. With Boom, you use it once, and then you just fight the boss normally. With Pyro, you just keep using your bombs. So the battle aspect is just way more pronounced. Like any late game boss that takes several bombs to fight, you need to place several bombs correctly. And the fact that they have smaller hitboxes does, I'm pretty sure that's smaller hitboxes because
yeah, I think it does. Because it's...
So, yeah. So I think the fact that it has a smaller hitbox makes it more precise to hit. And, there's just several you have to do in a boss fight for the later fights. Earlier fights that, just destroy him. So I think Pyro is probably higher though.
We just do this then, right? That's fine, right?
Yeah. Also, was it in chat? Yeah, we just canon Mum's Heal as the same as Virus because it's basically the same.
Indeed. The goat, Tammy's head. You know what?
Oh.
I like this item. I'm like one of this item's only lovers. This item does a lot of damage. All right, people sleep on this item. It kind of room clears.
And that's why it's no skill because it just clears the room.
No, but it's only room. This is the problem though. People don't have the high skill. All right, they don't realize how it room clears because they don't know the correct point to use it, bruh. It takes skill to use it. Deadass, I do think the positioning of it actually is high skill.
Well, okay, so it's basically not an active. Well,
no, it is an active. No. Yes, you do use it every room, if that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, but it is an active because you need to time it.
Yes, you choose when to use it, but you're not choosing. You're choosing when within a room to use it, but not which rooms to use it in.
Yeah, it's different than poop because poop you just use it every room no matter what.
But also no, but with poop you're still choosing when to use it in a room. For when you're using it for combat, and then the same thing with Mr. Boom, you're still choosing when to use those in the room. But Mr. Boom also has the aspect of choosing which room to use it in and choosing whether to do min-maxing with it or to do battle paths with it. Tammy's head is
the ability to get multiple shots onto one boss is important. That takes skill. You gotta know the boss pattern in order to, whatever the frick, to get as many shots as you can because it's damage multiplier. It's not just one tier damage for each tier. I don't know the damage multiplier, but I do know that it has one.
I don't think it's damage multiplier. I thought it was just a flat damage. Yeah, it's just a damage stat plus 25.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, it's more damage. That's what I meant.
But against bosses, it's just okay.
It is just okay. It's just whatever into bosses. It's good into early game bosses, but yeah, it's just whatever into.
Bosses. Can you get two of the hits against bosses? I think you're just getting one hit against a boss.
Oh, is that true?
Wait, are you getting several hits?
I think you can. I usually try. I usually can get 3, but
actually, no, bosses do have bigger hitboxes.
Yeah.
I guess I can.
I thought. Oh no, you could definitely hit more than one shot. 100%. I thought you meant it doesn't only register one hit.
No.
No, you definitely. Many times I've hit more than one tier. If that's the question.
Yeah, I feel like with Tammy's head, a lot of the time you are just kind of walking into the middle of a room and then using it, or just kind of saving it and then enemies are kind of closing on me. Well, I guess I'll use it now to boost my damage a bit.
It's also important to note that with its recent buff, it actually has a little bit more strategy. Because how it used to be is
Wait, what was the buff again?
The buff got rid of basically you could still shoot while using it. It used to be where when you use it, there was a full second where you couldn't shoot because you're using the item. Now it auto uses and you can continue to shoot. So now it is fully a supplement and there's no wasted, like, you could just keep shooting, right? And that's important because if you're if you run into the middle of the room and you see that there is an enemy that's a little bit close, you're not sure if Tammy's is going to crush it. Let's say it's like a double fly or something, right? Tammy's might break the fly, but then it'll burst and then maybe it could hit you. You could keep shooting that fly while you use Tammy's, and then it'll just burst it because you'll kill the first wave, and then instantly Tammy's can break the rest. I don't know if I'm describing that right, but I have the image in my head.
I think since it just has like that battle application to it, I
agree. It's not.
And it's not like the hardest.
I was mainly memeing. But that being said,
so I think it's mid skill at best. I can see like low skill is.
It doesn't have much utility. It's probably like right here, TBH.
Yeah, it's because I feel like a lot of if you look at the items around it, they kind of have like, was it the 10 bombs that has battle and min maxing. Heart has battle, and I guess the heart bit. I guess the battle part of heart doesn't actually take skill; it's just the min maxing part. Bible has min maxing and battle. Transcendence also has min maxing and battle. So yeah, it's there's decision making of like when to use it within a room, but that's basically it.
Yeah.
So,
I think that there's enough skill within an enemy room that it's like higher low skill, but yeah, I do think it's probably low skill.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. What is the next one? It's
Mom's bra, insane.
Insane.
Kamakazi.
So yeah, this is Petrify. Petrify is actually where's Glowing Hourglass? Let's get that here.
Where is Glowing Hourglass?
Not glowing out. No, not glowing. Yeah,
I know
sorry.
what you meant.
What is this called? It's just the hourglass.
Yeah.
The singular hourglass. What is it?
Which items are you guys tiering by ID or from a certain point? We're just going in order by ID. For the most part. Sometimes
and then sometimes we're breaking order just because it's like with pyro, it's easier to just kind of take that to compare it to 10 bombs. So, okay. So these are similar. I do think that it is hard. Oh. Okay, they're basically both. The skill to use them is the active item part. Like beyond that, it's when you freeze enemies, you're just shooting the enemies. You are choosing which enemies to shoot. Like Necronomicon, you just kill all the enemies, so you're not making a decision there. But with Mum's Bra and Hourglass, you're choosing which enemies to kill once you slow them down. But with Mum's Bra, you're petrifying them. They're just standing still. You're just standing there shooting a lot of the time. So there's not actually much skill there. So yeah, they're probably lower end of low skill or maybe minus skill at best.
I honestly have no opinion on these. Feel free to rank.
They kind of do the bare minimum of an active item. So I think the bare minimum of active items deserves to go.
No, you know what's funny? I still find that these have more skill than Necronomicon.
Yeah, no, they're definitely higher than Necronomicon.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking how much higher are they? Within the same tier, is it, or are they in the?
I think they're a full tier above. Okay, listen. Necronomicon doesn't even make you want to save it. You don't even care to save Necronomicon. At least when you have Mom's Bra, you want to save it for the boss, right?
Yeah, there's a decision there of
there is that decision. Even I shouldn't say glowing. The hourglass. Even the hourglass, you still save it for your boss. Necronomicon, you just freaking blast it, whatever it charges. I will say, as much as I hate Necronomicon, Necronomicon is a much better item than these items, don't get me wrong. But If we're talking about skill, it
Like,
is so
the
brain
fact
dead
that
to
these
use
take skill to
Necronomicon.
use makes them worse.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So therefore they are higher, and I think bottom of that is probably.
So Kamakazi is an interesting item. I don't know if this is actually
This one.
okay. I don't know if this is actually optimal, but this does a lot of damage. This does a lot of This is like how much damage does this do? Google this.
185. So I think it's the same as Mr. Boom. Yeah.
That is a lot of freaking damage. But obviously you're dealing damage to yourself.
So it takes Soul Hearts first, right? It's just like
I'm
as
pretty
you
sure.
get.
If it took red health, this would actually be a really good item. I think.
Yeah, that kind of be insane. Yeah, so it kind of has. Okay. I think there is one application of it, which is you take damage and then you explode immediately after.
So that alone is at least mid skill in my eyes. The reaction time to do that and just gain full benefit. But the problem is that here's the problem that I see with it. Is that ever really? How big is this hitbox? Because I also see the world where you probably just get hit by tears. Like, let's be honest here, most bosses, I guess you could also get hit by enemies, and enemies are usually contact damage. But most bosses usually shoot you with a tear, and they're not even near you enough for the explosion to actually hit them.
What you can do is something you can say that takes skill is being able to run over to the boss, like get hit by a tear, run over to the boss, explode yourself, and then run back.
Yeah.
And doing that effectively.
Well, I agree, but how long is the invincibility frames on this?
Well, you don't get. Well, if you're using it during your invincibility frames, then you're not getting any extra invincibility frames.
But yeah, sorry, I said that wrong. I didn't mean during its invincibility frames. I meant how long is invincibility frames in Isaac?
Well, what's the item that gives you more invincibility frames? Blindfold, I think. Yeah. That. It's not saying. I don't know. It's not loading. Oh. I don't know, but also just making the decision of like, okay, do I have enough frames to do it? Like, if you're all the way across the room with low speed, you probably don't want to, and you get hit, you probably don't want to run all the way to the other side of the room because you don't have enough time.
You know what? If we're going based on the tiers, this is probably beyond reasonable skill to use. Because, okay, you can make the argument that you could use this for bombs, and you can sacrifice a hit for explosions, and that's min-max. But we say that, but you also have to have it taking up your active slot. Are you going to choose this active item over anything? That's a decision you have to make. I feel like that's beyond reasonable. Because it takes a hit if you actually do want to make use of its min-max application. And it's taking up your active slot. And you need to time it. If you want to use it in battle, you need to time it at the right moment after you get hit for it to actually be beneficial. Or you could disregard all of that and just have a game-busting synergy, like freaking Pyromaniac, right? And then, like, whatever, then it's just free. But by itself, I don't know. I just think it's unreasonable. I think it's unreasonable to use in a similar way to Breath of Life. Where, like, do I realistically see myself actually using this as my active item?
I think it's probably mid-skill because it has the resource management part and it has that battle application where usually you're just you're trying to use it, you're trying to time it and like.
Have you actually used this?
Not really. I usually don't pick it up because
I'm thinking logically, and I think it'd be stupid to try and use this. I think you'll get hit.
No, I think well, sometimes it's stupid to use it. You're not using every time you get hit. You're not using it. Like you're half across the room, get hit by Mega Satan. You're not using it. You're not running all the way up to him, exploding, and then running back. But there are a lot of times where you do take like melee damage from Gaper running into you, and it's like, well, I might as well use it. Or a time where you're pretty close to a boss, and you might as well. So I think it's like half a second. Yeah, there's a lot of times where you're realistically not using it, but it is kind of hard.
I think it's too unrealistic. I really do. Because I think I've tried like a few times, but and again, it's also just like it's unreasonable. This is why I think it's very comparable to Breath of Life, because I think it's just too difficult and also like too risky to warrant wasting my active item slot on it. Yes, it's powerful, like Breath of Life. Breath of Life is very powerful, but it's risky, right? To run up, it's effectively the same thing. Breath of Life is risky. You're running up, and you're trying to get big damage. So
I think the timing of Kamakazi is a lot easier, just because you have a lot less invincibility frames.
Fight here. Pull up your stream. I want to see you do it first try.
Of like getting hit and then doing it.
Yeah.
And then running up.
I want to see how easy it is. I'm curious.
It's I was actually well, we gotta wait for the movie.
Edmund McMuffin.
Edmund McMuffin. Yeah, I did test that out like a little bit. So it gets like this. It's like, oh no, well, let me just and then I can go to like Monstro. So let's just say I
So you get hit by freaking Monstro.
Oh my god.
Monstro's so easy, you can't even accidentally get hit. I mean, on purpose get hit.
I'm trying to get hit on purpose, but just shot, please.
This is so dumb. Monstro is so dumb.
Please.
He's running towards the tier.
Please.
What the fuck?
Please. Okay.
No way, dude. On tiers, this is not realistic. Maybe Monstro is a bad example. Go to a different boss. No, it's not enough time, man. It's not enough time.
Well, yeah, it's I think the low amount of invincibility frames, it makes it easier to time, makes it easier to know when to go for it.
Well, it's easy to click it, sure, but you're not gonna hit it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, no, there are a lot of times where it's literally impossible to hit. Yeah. So it's just like, oh, that's just not skill. It's just like, well, I'm just going to time it correctly, and then if I hit it, then cool. If I don't, then well. So I think it is like kind of mid skill to kind of just like learn the timing of it and kind of just walk forward when that happens.
No, my point is, if you're actively trying to use it, then the play for Kamakazi, high skill ceiling, is to stay as close as possible to the boss at all times, so that way whenever you do get hit, you can Kamakazi.
I don't think the optimal play is to do that.
Well, no, if you're trying to actively use Kamakazi, because we're trying to see how you actively use items, right? If I'm going to actively try to use Kamakazi, the play is to stay as close as possible. And then just do that.
It's so if I get hit like here and I can.
Yeah.
So that's like a quarter of the room-ish that I'm kind of running across.
Granted, an early boss is not great. I almost wonder how it would perform like in a deli fight.
Yeah, that's good. If I go to deli, that it's just not gonna work. But if I
well, no, dead ass. Like if you have like a bunch of health, like could you beat it with Kamakazi? A lot of damage.
Yeah, well, I'm taking for testing. Okay, then. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you're not. So yeah, you probably want to stay close to the bus, and it's yeah.
I don't know. I think it's too unreasonably used. That's my whole point.
Yeah, the using it optimally is kind of unreasonable, of like staying close to the boss, but like just going for the explosion is probably reasonable. So I don't know how to rank this. What do you think? We should rank it around.
Again, I dead ass just think I'd put it in beyond reasonable skill to use. I just think people don't use this for a reason. It's not worth it. It's the same thing for Breath of Life. People don't use Breath of Life because it's not worth the risk of getting hit.
Because, yeah, okay, I think the application of using it to like min-max and using it to just explode yourself if you get hit, that's like mid-skill, but then staying close to the boss in order to explode them if you get hit is beyond reasonable skill.
That's what I'm saying.
So
it's beyond reasonable skill to use.
That one aspect is beyond reasonable skill, but the other two aspects are like mid-skill. I think, what is it?
To be fair, the assessment to drop your health for an explosion, I actually still think is more than the other items we've used, that we've ranked.
Okay. I think, and this is kind of like why I wanted to, rank skill floor and skill ceiling.
Because here's another thing, right? Doesn't this this is just damage to yourself, right? This doesn't count as like like this will lose your double deal chance if you lose red health from this.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
So would you actually use this?
Sometimes. And it's like making the decision of like
I don't think I have. It's not. Here's the thing. Is it worth wasting a? Is it ever? Wait a minute. This does just do half a heart to yourself, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Either way, half a soul heart or losing your double deal chance. Would you want either of those to happen?
It's actually, well, you can wait until the end of the floor to start using it. Just say, if you are on run health, and then you get your double deal, and then you start exploding yourself, and then so there is skill there of like when.
Guess what? I didn't even think about that. That's skill. There you go.
I think what is it? So this is why I think ranking the skill floor and the skill ceiling is important, because with the skill ceiling, I think that's beyond reason. But with the skill floor, of like using it to like a reasonable degree of like just like things I mentioned of like using it for a bomb, you're just exploding yourself. That still is higher skill than most things.
I actually think it's higher than everything we've ranked. Am I crazy?
With the floor, I think that still is probably higher, but with the ceiling, it is definitely higher. So I think those two average out to like high skill. Like,
okay, no, because I'm saying the ceiling is definitely beyond reasonable skill, 100%. Like you would not do that. You would not use it in the battle application. But especially since you have to use your active slot. But in terms of like what we have ranked, I think this is definitely above everything. I would rank this high skill even if it's just for the utility. Because again, that assessment is so massive. The assessment of either losing a soul heart or losing your double deal chance. I guess you could wait until after you beat the boss, but even then, that's skill to do that.
I think somewhere in high skill. It is it's above. It's probably above everything else, and I'd say we put it somewhere in high skill, and then we kind of assess its relationship to other items as we have more in there. Because right now we have nothing else even in high skill, so we'll just keep that there and see.
Let me respond to some chat really quick. Later Manor, which items are you guys tier? Oh yeah, my bad. Later Manor, love your Isaac videos, just found your channel, debate tier list, our peak background listening. I'm glad you like the videos, John Gamer Man. Appreciate it. Debate listener, peak background listening. Also, are you continuing your all item with Turt anytime soon? As soon as Turt is ready to do all items, I am down. Turt's been not as into Isaac, or not. He hasn't been interested in all items as of right now, but he will be. He will be. I know he will be. This happens. It happens all the time. And anybody who's been constantly watching the streams know that this happens like every other week. Although this time it has been admittedly a lot longer. I think it's been like a full month at this point, but we'll get back to it. Don't worry. It'll happen. I'm in no rush. PS, a lot of time you use Kamakazi with bomb resistance items. Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, the knowledge to do that. Hell, maybe the decision to keep Kamakazi in case you get the bomb resistance item. You know what I'm saying? That takes skill. Anyway. Breath Life has to be the highest skill item in the game. That's what I kept saying. Not to be a spoiler or anything. 18 hours dealing 1,800 damage. God damn. Imagine using Kamakazi to Samson. Yeah, that's good enough. Alright, what are we ranking next?
No clue.
Bob's Rotten Head!
No. The pad. You forgot Mom's pad.
It's like the same thing as the freaking bra, let's be honest.
I forget what it does. Wait, what's it again?
Don't even worry about it.
Fear. Oh, it's fear. Oh my god, okay. Yeah. Nah. We're not even gonna rank it.
I mean, Bob's Rotten Head is it 2 in charge or 3?
Also, we could remove Hourglass from the tier list just because it's that similar.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just try to avoid doubling up. Bob's Rotten Head is basically I'd say it's a lower skill than Boom because you can throw it. Actually, well, I guess as a battle, it's easier.
It's actually harder to use for min-maxing though.
Yeah, because if there's like something you want to exploit in the middle of the room, then it's well, I guess it's not harder. I guess it's just impossible. Is it?
It's probably just similar, to be honest. Is it 2 or 3 in charge? I don't even know. 2 in charge, bomb. Let's use it.
It's 2 room.
Okay. I actually think it takes
Poison Cloud as well. Huh.
Insane. I think it takes slightly more because of the min-maxing.
I think it's slightly less, but you know, whatever. They're about the same.
What makes you think it's less anyway? Because it's easy.
Because I think using it for because a lot of the times when you can't use it for min-maxing, it's just like you cannot use it. It's not even like position yourself well. It's just like, well, I actually cannot throw it at this thing.
There's always a way, bro.
Battle.
If you believe.
But then for battle, having to position, like, you know, walk next to the boss, place it down, wait for the explosion, is a lot harder than just throw it.
I guess shooting the bomb is still more skilled too.
It's and teleport. Okay, this one is tricky. This one has like this one feels worthless, but also
One said.
what is it? All its use.
Sorry, Rich.
This one feels worthless, but all its use kind of comes from the min-maxing, from like the little things you can do.
You get an error room if you spam it.
Yeah. You can teleport to the secret room or super secret room with it. Wait, what the hell? With the first floor. Wait, it's possible.
This is just a patience check. This is literally a patience check.
Yeah, no, yeah, there is a strategy. You go into the curse room. Then you teleport out, or you go into a boss rush room. Not a boss rush, like the challenge room, the boss.
Or the boss rush room, to be fair. Get a free item.
Yeah, and you can teleport out of that as well. And you can escape from Mum's thing, you know, like do the full card thing. So, and also there are times you can use it. You can be trapped, be in a bad situation, just in a battle room, and you're trapped against the wall, and it's like, oh, I'm out, and then you just leave. So there are like a decent amount of uses with it, but also the uses that it has is pretty rigid, and it's like, yeah, once you know them, that's kind of it, I think.
You can connect to us for better mapping, I suppose. but like, is that necessary? I legitimately think it's just a patience check. You just spam it. I would not consider this a high skill item at all. I mean, yeah, the curse room thing is, to be fair, still something. I guess that would that be more than triple shot and Brother Bobby though? Like the aiming.
Wait, say it again.
I said, would the ability to use teleport in cursed rooms or boss rush room or whatever really be more, or spamming to get secret rooms, would that really make it go above the shooting differences of triple shot and Brother Bobby? Because I don't think so.
It's like about there. I think it's definitely higher than minor skill. There are like applications of it that people do not know, don't think of. But also those applications are still pretty limited.
Yeah.
And there's just not too much to do with that. So yeah, I think like about there is probably fine.
Fair enough. Yumheart is a min-max item, kind of. I mean, yes.
It's actually it's got like a similar application of was in the challenge rooms.
Oh yeah.
You go into like the boss challenge rooms and you use it so you don't die, so you're not at one heart.
Mm-hmm.
So you still get the room. So it's got that going for it. It's got like just min maxing for like sacrifice rooms and blood donos and whatnot. Just anything that you use health for like directly. And then I don't know. It's got other things. Trust me.
Yes, bro.
I think.
I mean, you still have to choose when to use it. It could go mid-skill, I guess. I don't know. Where do you want to put it?
Nah, that's probably not mid-skill. Because there's a lot of times where you just can't use it. It actually just does not have any application because it's you're just not getting rid of your soul hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only way you're going past your soul hearts all the time is because you're using like a blood dono, and then if you're using for a blood dono, it's pretty simple to use. It's just it's one use there. So yeah, I'd say it's also in the lower end here of low skill. It does have more to it than minor skill best, but not much, I don't think. And because a lot of times it just does nothing, or it has a very obvious use. Sometimes you have like what I said with the boss challenge room. It's like, oh, that's a cool trick.
Yeah, the strategy is straightforward, but there is it is still something that you could save for like specific min-maxing and stuff.
I'd probably put it like lower in this here. Like honestly, not too far from teleport because it kind of has like that same thing where it's like got like two tricks. Where it's like, oh yeah, that's.
I still think it has like more like utility than Belial.
Yeah, I'd say the fact that you can use it for like blood donors, whatever, is some people don't know about blood donors at all, so it's like, oh, that is the skill difference. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, does Kane's foot actually have any
What?
Does it have any skill to it, or is it just? I guess you can know. I guess you can know that like what it does, and that can help. But does that actually change anything though? Like I guess you go for shell games more with it.
I think the knowledge of knowing arcade. Oh god, I think I have to be the last item that we do. I gotta take a nap. I'm tired. I woke up so early today. But...
Yeah, you said you had to go for like another thing, so.
I know. That's okay. We can do Luckfoot here. I'm wondering if the pill, like identification should be. I mean, like, it. I wouldn't say it's skill. It opens up another way of play. Like, you can get battle pills now and keep them.
I
Wait, no,
I'd
it
say
doesn't. It doesn't.
minus-
Never mind. It doesn't identify, right? It just gives you all good pills.
Yeah, it
Never
just
mind.
so I think it literally is just like knowledge of like knowing that your pills are good, knowing that they like slot machines are better, like shell games are better, whatever. It's just knowing what it does, and then you kind of change your playstyle a bit of like. But outside of knowing what it does, there's actually not really anything. Like if you know it does, it makes your pills better. Well, you're going to be using your pills. If you know the shell games are better, well, maybe use them a bit more. But there's not. It's just a knowledge check. That's about it. So let's say I don't know, like, because at least with the active items, you have like the active charges. Like, which room do I want to use it in?
Right.
So yeah, this is like bottom low skill, minus skill best. I kind of want it to be in the lowest in minus skill best, but I don't know, bottom low skill is probably fine.
You do this. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have any strong feelings about Luckfoot from a skill perspective. Min-max trinkets / cards. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What me and Turt found out about. Wait. No. Never mind. Never mind. Where's Rain? Wait. We're gonna do it right now. Where's $3 bill? Where's $3 bill?
Alright, it gives you okay, it gives you lucky foot.
Now this right here, bro, is high to mid skill just because it gives you luck foot. You see that luck up?
And okay, I think actually that does bring up a good point, because it's not just knowledge that's important, it's how hard that knowledge is to have.
That's extremely hard knowledge to know.
Like, most people just not gonna know that, even if they look it up.
I only thought of that as a meme. It's funny, this is how I come up with most of my strategies. I came up with that as a meme when Turt read off the effects. I was like, hello? Wait, can you just get like the freaking positive pills? Like, see the luck up on your stat screen, right? And then you just use the pill. And like, I don't think anybody actually does that, but theoretically you could, right? And I mean, it's not that unrealistic because you see the luck up on the HUD.
Like, well, oh yeah, let's actually use it, yeah. But I think, what is it? Because with $3 bill, it's when you're looking at the effects, it's so easy for Luckfoot to get drowned out that you don't even know it does that. And if you do see that, to make the connection of like, oh, to use it for that thing does take. It is just hard to do that.
You could hit a stone enemy until you get a card / pill / rune. Can generate runes. How?
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of effects.
It's gonna be like beyond reasonable skill.
Wait, does it have what's it called? You can destroy rocks. Can it destroy rocks?
Yeah. I think it gets acid tears. And by extension, it could also break secret rooms.
Wait, is it acid tears? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
The item. Oh, there we go. Okay, sulfuric acid.
Sulfuric acid. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Right. Let's see. S. No, it does not get that. Huh.
Oh, it doesn't get sulfuric.
Yeah, I do not see it here.
What are the effects? That might have been
8-inch nails, 2020, apple, ball of tar, continuum, cricket's body, dark matter, deadeye, death touch, euthanasia, explosivo, eye of Belial, fire mind, holy light, iron bar, little horn, lost contact, mom's eyeshadow, mom's perfume, mutant spider, reflection, mysterious liquid, number 1, Ouija board, parasitoid, proptosis, Pupilla duplex, rubber cement, Sagittarius, Scorpio, sinus infection, speedball, spoonbender, inner eye, parasite, sad onion, whiz, tough love. And then it can also give, was it Lucky Foot and Magneto? Huh, I actually didn't know it gave Magneto as well.
Magneto?
So
Wait a minute, Magneto is also min-max.
So, yeah, it's, so it's got 2 min-max items, and then the rest is just, like, battle. I don't think any of the battle ones actually have any, min-max effects you can do. So...
How? Okay,
Wait,
the
so
thing is that this is
this
is technically just a knowledge check, but this is like a high knowledge check. Like this is like a knowledge check that like nobody's gonna think about.
And I also think was it just being able to like switch your playstyle like constantly is
That's true. No, that's actually true. Like if you see your Fire Mine tears come out, like yeah, like you better back up, you know.
And you have to react to that. You have to, you know, and you have to know how each one of these things affects your, you know, affects your current build. Like, just say if you have, I don't know, Epic Fetus or something, it's like, okay, well, how does, actually, no, Epic Fetus is it overrides things. Just say if you have Brimstone, it's like, well, how does each one of these things affect Brimstone? You just need to, like, you know, on the fly, it's like, oh yeah, what does my reflection do to Brimstone again? What does Moon Spider do to it? What does Proptosis do? And you just kind of need to adapt your playstyle, and then, you know, usually you have like 1,000 items, so it's like how to interact with all those things. You have to adapt. And you just need to be good at using, you know, are you good at using the Parasite? Are you good at using Spoonbender? Are you good at using Proptosis? Like,
that's true.
So the fact that you have to be good at using all these different effects to properly use it to its full skill. And then just the skill check of the knowledge check of knowing it gives you the min-max things. There's actually quite a bit to this.
High skill, bro.
Yeah, at least relative to what we have so far.
High skill $3 bill, bro. You see, everybody just picks up this item and just plays like normal. They're not using its effects to the utmost potential, bruh. You see that luck up in your HUD? Save your pills for those luck ups. Come on now. People probably just procking their unidentified pills when they already have $3 bill. They're throwing.
Actually, I can see like top and mid skill.
Come on.
Because Kamakazi does feel higher than it.
No, you're right. But maybe that's just because it should be here and this should be here.
Now, even Poop, though, I can see... Even, like, Pyromaniac, I can see those being harder to use in a lot of situations. I think it is...
Well, okay, harder depends on what we're talking about. Obviously, like, we know the knowledge now, so, like, we could apply it, but, like, it is just a huge knowledge check at the end of the day. But it's just, like, this is probably, like, one of the biggest knowledge checks, like, ever. Like, do you know this ridiculously niche knowledge of this, of, like, 2 of the effects of this item? That has 1,000,000 effects.
It's, yeah, well, with knowledge checks, there's only so hard they can be. It's just because, you know, once you know it, it's just like, okay, well, I know what it does. I will do the thing.
But then it also takes patience. Will you realistically sit and wait for the luck up?
Actually, wait. Oh, God, I wonder where placenta goes. It'd be on reasonable skill. Nah, you just make a sandwich.
You just make a sandwich?
To
be fair, placenta is easy. If you're gonna, you know, abuse it.
But yeah, no, that's a different... We do not have time for that.
Yeah.
I think
that's fine for now. Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
All right.
That's probably...
Well, we gotta start. This is a bit of an odd list. I know we fumbled around a little bit, but that's usually how these go. You know, gotta perfect our criteria as we go. I think we're starting to get the hang of it. And stuff. I am excited to get to the later items because I think they're gonna be a lot more interesting to talk about when they have all the effects.
There's some crazy, like, they've really just kept making like just more wild effects, because it's like, you know, all the basic things of like, oh, you do 2 shots, like that's just a basic ability in a lot of games, so it's like a lot of the early Isaac just has a lot of things like that, where it's like, yeah, that is an ability you would expect. And then the later ones, it's like, well, we've already done double shot. What else do we do? So
Right.
they're just like, oh, let's do double shot plus this, plus this, plus this. So there's a lot going on for those later ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll talk about them. So I guess the idea is that me and Wiggly are probably gonna do this on the days that me and Turt don't do all items. We'll see. We'll figure it out. And yeah, how did y'all like the stream? I'm curious. How was Too Wiggly? I thought he was a great co-host.
Yippee.
Yippee! I thought he was great. Great. He's gonna be the new replacement for Turt because Turt hates me and doesn't want to do all items anymore.
He also hates me.
It's true.
Doesn't want to talk to me.
It's true. Actually, Wiggly sent me a. Oh no, sorry. Turt. Wait. Who sent it to me? Turt sent me a screenshot of them fighting with each other. And I'm just saying, there's some tea going on. All right. I don't think I want to show it, but there's some tea. All right. Turt's. I'm cheating on. Wait, no. Who's cheating on who?
Everyone's cheating on everyone.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I don't think I could reveal. Pretty good. I don't like this list. Aw, I'm sorry, Arthad. Pretty good. It is a bit of a you know, let's be honest here. This is just like a whatever. We're just talking about stuff. I know this mainly came about because Victor was talking about making a skill-based list for a stream. Maybe I'll do like a poll, and we'll see if we should continue this list or whatever, or if we should do something else. Maybe with me and Too Wiggly. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Take some community polling or whatever. Hell, maybe I'll do what I said and maybe just scrap this and just do the active items. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do like a community poll or something. See what people are interested in. But yeah. If you guys like this stream, make sure to like the stream, and I'll see y'all next week or at some point. Later, matters. Bye.